So to introduce myself to the people who don't know what I teach, basically what I share is that acting's fucking easy because it's just playing pretend. I define acting as behaving as if it's really happening, which you'll notice I said behaving as if it's really happening. You don't have to make it be really happening because acting's fake, you know? It's fake. So if you say it, it's true. So if I say I'm a rodeo clown, and I am a rodeo clown on the weekends. You see how real that looked? So I don't have to do anything to earn it. But the good news is once you realize that acting's fake, and if you just say it and have faith it's true, then it appears true, then you stop worrying about all those result-oriented, fear-based techniques that we get involved in to try to earn the right to do a scene. And then you're free to just be open and receive gifts of images, thoughts, concepts, and feelings aligned with, for instance, being a rodeo clown. See how that works? Anyway, acting's easy, but it's very uncomfortable. And that's fine. It will always be really super uncomfortable to act because your heart's racing and you've got butterflies in your stomach and you feel vulnerable and tense. That's a good thing, and it'll never go away. You know, it's that racing heart that makes magic happen in your performance because it sends more blood to your brain and your brain expands. You become superhuman. I like to say it plugs me into my higher power or the magic of acting. And then I just let my higher power guide me through the audition and trust that however it goes, it was meant to go. So anyone who tells you that you're going to be doing your auditions with nothing but the work you put into it, is lying, because truly today you're going to be doing your auditions hand in hand with your racing heart that will guide you through it, help you remember the words, help you feel things. So yes, we don't want to get involved in a lot of the things that result-oriented teachers try to get us to be involved in to make ourselves comfortable, to get rid of that uncomfortable feeling. No, you'll never be comfortable, so don't try to be. But what we do want to do is get rid of anxiety. See, the anxiety is the enemy of the actor. Oh, I also want to clarify another reason acting is so easy on film. I'm talking about film acting, not theater acting, is because we don't create our performances on film. The editor does, and the casting person knows that. And our job is to just play spontaneously in the room, showing them that on set, we'll give the editor lots of things to choose from because we're not just regurgitating our dead idea of the scene, but instead we're really behaving as if it's really happening and just being surprised by the outcome. So anyway, I was saying that anxiety truly, for me, I think the only thing that can go wrong when you act, because it's so easy, is that your vulture could squawk. Now your vulture, if you've read my free ebook or trained with me at all, you'll know that's your ego, the half of you that wants you to fail, and it's saying things to try to ruin your experience. And that really is the only thing that can go wrong, but your vulture is as smart as you are. So there's like a million things she could say. And so it's very important as actors that we get control of our thoughts, that we move that negative, mean-spirited voice outside our head and see it as a vulture, so we can say what we need to say to let it know, I'm not interested in what you're talking about, so that you can have silence so you can play in your audition. So if I was sitting where you guys are and had to perform a scene today, my vulture would be saying a lot of mean things to me right now about how I'm not prepared, about how I have to impress Jack, about how I haven't memorized it enough. And so I'm going to say some of the things that I'd be saying to my vulture if I was you. And again, these are all based on what my vulture is saying. These are not just sort of blanket up. I'm just trying to, I'm going to just leave that there. I'm going to try to stop blocking this light with my head. That's what I've been doing. I'm like, you know what? Just deal with that light because I like this lighting better. It's more important that I look cute than that you don't see that light behind me. Okay. So I saw you laugh, Carmen. So anyway, here we go. I'm going to say what I'd be saying to my vulture, and you please out there pretend you're saying this to your vulture, okay? Vulture, I release and destroy my need to control this audition today. I am not strong enough to control it. Whenever I try, it ruins it. So instead, I'm just going to ask my higher power, my racing heart, to lovingly guide me through the scene. And however it goes, it was meant to go. Even if it's badly, good. fine. Then it was meant to go badly. Number 2, I would remind myself, I'm not an actor. I release and destroy my need to be an actor or actress. I'll let those other people here be the actors and have all those responsibilities to have read all the right books and have trained with the right teachers. I'm not an actor. I'm just here to be me and enjoy playing in these circumstances. Next. Right. See, my vulture is going to be saying a lot of things about how you're not in the mood to do this. You don't feel well. You're not memorized enough. You didn't rehearse it enough. To which I would say, I'm going to take it from where I am, vulture. However I'm feeling and however prepared I am is a fine place to begin the scene. And when the scene begins, I'll just approach it like an improv. If I was doing a drama scene today, I'd want to remind myself how I live my life, because a drama acting on film is a mirror of real life. And so I remind myself these 3 things because they remind me how I really live my life. So number 1, I'm not going to make any choices. I don't have to make strong choices to be memorable. I'm not going to make any choices, not one. But more importantly, I'm going to allow choices to happen to me based on the circumstances. Number 2, the words, I'm not going to color them. I'm not going to deliver them. No. I'm going to throw them away. I'm going to let them fall out of my face when they want to. I have faith. I have the character's thoughts and feelings, and the words I'll just throw away. And number 3, that I hope Jack and everyone out there feels so fucking uncomfortable watching me do this drama scene. And I'll do that by not taking care of the scene at all, but instead and only being interested in my experience of behaving as if this is really happening to me for the first time. If I was doing a comedy, I would say I release and destroy my need to be funny. I am just here to tickle myself. I'm just here to tickle myself with my own genuine, spontaneous human behavior. And lastly, I might say I release and destroy my need to impress these people here today. As a matter of fact, if I wanted to hate them, I could. So even though I'm never going to really hate them, I give myself permission to hate all these people, especially Jack. Fuck them. Who gives a fuck what they think? Now, the affirmations are the most important thing I teach. So I am curious if any of you guys out there, because I can see you, if any of you have any questions about the affirmations, and if you do, you can just wave your hand. And also maybe you have something your vulture is saying to you right now that you don't know what to say back, or something your vulture's been saying lately in auditions. It's very important when your vulture tries to say, oh no, but you do want to impress them. Don't you want to impress them? To say, yeah, I want to impress them very much, but I release and destroy my need to. Because if I need to impress them, it puts pressure on me, it creates anxiety, and then I'm terrible. That's why we get the jobs we don't need, because when you don't really need the job, you shine your light and you book it. And you can create a reality where you don't need the job simply by saying the affirmations. So I guess I'm going to move on then to the next thing I like to talk about before every workshop, because it is so important, and that's the secret to acting. And that is, I'm kind of going through this stuff a little quicker than normal because it's all in my free ebook, which you can read here at jackplotnick.com/teacher. It's called New Thoughts for Actors. It's a free ebook, and everything I teach is in there. So if you have any questions or you want to hear a little more on any of the topics, just go to this ebook and read it. But I'm going to talk about the secret to acting, which is you are not here to show us what the scene will look like in the finished product. All that will do is make you need to get it word perfect, keep it moving, and make it look like a nice, smooth, polished surface. And you can't behave as if it's really happening when you're involved in doing that result-oriented junk that we learn in classes. So, no, you're here to do it as if it's the 9th take. You know, every actor, they go to set and their first take of every scene is always, you know, let me show what it'll look like in the finished product. Oh, please, let me just not mess up. And that first take, the director's always like, well, let's keep doing it. I mean, that's why they do more than one take. And then around the 8th take, the director will say, thank you, guys, I've got the scene. It's perfect. I have everything I need. So I'm never going to look at this next take. So I guess this one's for you, whatever. And then that 9th take is the one that they use because it's the only take where the actors are behaving as if it's really happening. Because the great movies and TV shows are made of lucky accidents caught on film. See, when something surprises you in an audition, the audience acting runs on empathy. So the audience feels everything you feel. So when something surprises you in an audition, you can't fake spontaneity, guys. There's an electric shock to you. And so they all feel it, this electric shock of spontaneity. And the more of those you have, the better chance you have of booking the job. That's how you book a job. So every actor's motto should be, all I want to do is surprise myself. But we're trained to go into the room thinking, okay, let me remember how my coach told me to do it. You know, you should drive home from an audition going, wow, I didn't expect to say that line like that, or to think that, or to cry there, or to add that funny line that I never expected to say. That's the energy that books work. That's the water they want you to be swimming in. It's beautiful water, but it's uncomfortable waters. But are you going to let uncomfortableness allow your vulture to start saying, oh, keep it moving, move it faster, get it right? Don't do it. Now, how do I do the 9th take? Well, I literally pretend I'm the director talking to me right before I go into an audition. What I do is I pretend that I've already done the audition and now I'm going to do it again. And the director says to me before I film it, he says, and I say this to myself, oh my God, Jack, thank you so much for bringing in all those brilliant choices you just did. They were perfect for the scene and I have them all on film perfectly and I'm going to use them. So since we're done, and I'm never going to look at this next take, like, I guess you don't have to do any of that brilliant stuff you brought in. Gosh, I guess just behave as if it's really happening. Just want to surprise yourself. Oh, take all the time you want, and you have permission to do it badly. I'm never going to look at this take. And then I do my audition. It's the only time we will give ourselves permission to behave as if it's really happening. Does anybody out there watching who's going to perform today have a question about the concept of the 9th take, how to do it, or what it means? If you do, you would just wave. I'm going to get my list of who's performing today, and it seems that Tyler's going to be starting us off when we do get started. But I just wanted to know right before if there's any questions from the people here, because I can see you guys. Any of you have any questions? By the way, if you're performing today but you can't get into the waiting area, don't worry, you'll eventually be able to. No? Okay. So I'm going to bring you up now, Tyler. Hello. What scene are you doing? I don't know. I have to go find it.
The one you Todd's bedroom.
Todd. Okay. So for those of you who've never seen this scene, Todd is a filmed half-hour comedy, and it says that it takes place in Todd's bedroom. Todd still lives with his mom. And it says that Todd is staring at an ugly girl sleeping in his bed and freaking out. She wakes up, shit. So that's what the stage directions say. I have the first line. So I'm going to just let me know when you're ready to begin. And then we're going to begin and behave as if this is your audition for the role of Todd.
Cool, let's do it.
Okay, here we go. Hey.
Hi.
Come cuddle with me.
The cuddle window is passed.
When?
When I got sober.
Don't tell me you were drunk when you put your tongue inside my...
Mar? Anyways, so... Oh, right. Teresa.
Teresa.
Yeah. Teresa, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I really enjoyed last night. You know, it was a lot of fun, but I think it's time, we move on and maybe you can go.
It's 6 a.m.
Yeah, well, for some people, half the day's over, It's,
like who?
Well, like my mother. Like, maybe somewhere in my subconscious, I probably, should take you out to breakfast and we could sit down. But the thing is, my breakfast is like waiting for me downstairs and I better...
Wait, you want me to leave so you can eat breakfast with your mother?
Well, I think she's already eaten, but...
Are you kicking me out?
No, I'm just politely asking you to leave.
Fine, I'll go. Oh, good. Let's stop there. Good work. So I'm going to ask you what your experience of doing the scene was. And the reason why is because I believe it's the actor's experience that matters more than what I would make of the result of that scene. Because again, as I said, acting runs on empathy. So the audience can only have the experience you have. So if you guys as the actors have an experience where you're vultures squawking a bunch of mean-spirited stuff to you, which makes behaving as if this is really happening really hard, then that's a bad experience for you. So it's a bad experience for the audience. Whereas if you have an experience where your vulture silent, so it's easy to just behave as if this is really happening, then that's a good experience for you. So it's a good experience for the audience. That's why I tell actors, you got to be totally selfish, only interested in your own experience on film, because any part of you that's out there worried about, oh, did they like me? Is this going well? Is a part of you that's not back here in your own selfish shit, having a rich, surprising, emotional experience, thereby giving the audience a rich, surprising, emotional experience. So when I say, what was your experience of that? Another way to say it would be, did anything come up you don't care for? Was there anything your vulture was squawking?
That I forgot the lines, and maybe I'm not super prepared because I've just done improv in the past. This is kind of new for me. So,
well, this is a lot of different things. So let's slow down. First, it said, you're forgetting the lines. Is that what it said? Literally, it said, you're forgetting the lines?
well, like, oh, I should have practiced them more and remembered them.
Okay, so your vulture is saying you should have practiced more so you'd remember these lines. Guess what you can't do when a vulture is saying you should know these lines better? You can't fucking remember the words because it puts pressure on your brain.
Yeah.
You know, you looked at these words, and when your heart's racing, your brain becomes a fucking supercomputer. You all of a sudden remember words you had no idea you memorized.
Exactly.
So when you say, fuck the words, I release and destroy my need to know these words, then the pressure comes off because your vulture shuts up, and then your brain can function.
Yeah.
Now, it's okay to wish you had more time to memorize them, but you didn't. And does screaming at yourself about how you should have taken more time help you? Not at all. So let's get that vulture to be silent by saying, I release and destroy my need to have prepared more. I'm going to take it from where I am. Fuck, I release and destroy my need to know these words. I'm allowed to paraphrase. I forgive myself unconditionally, because your vulture wants you to spend the scene mad at yourself that you didn't work harder. Just say, look, this was meant to happen as it happened. I'm a good person. Good people make mistakes, and it doesn't mean I'm not a good person. Okay, so moving on to the next thing your vulture was saying while you were acting. What was that next thing after the lines?
Yeah, well, I guess I've done mostly improv, so it said like, oh, I'm new to this and I don't know how to do this.
Acting is so friggin' easy. Complete non-actors will come into my workshop and give brilliant performances. But the thing your vulture is saying is you're not a real actor.
Yeah.
To which you'd say, yeah, I release and destroy my need to be a real actor. I'll let those other people be actors. I'm just here to be me and enjoy playing in the circumstances.
Yeah.
Because I tell actors to approach a scene as if it's an improv. So actually, you're better off than most film actors who never took improv, because they approach the scene from this really false way about breaking it down into objectives and active verbs. Whereas because you're an improviser, you're just, it's all going to be easier for you, film acting. Anything else your vulture was saying?
Well, I feel a little hungover. I don't know. So
you got to take it from where you are. The character's probably hungover.
Yeah.
You know, was your vulture saying you can't do the scene because you're hungover?
No, not like I drank a lot. I'm a little tired. Didn't get a ton of sleep. So I'm like,
Did your vulture? I don't care if you're tired. What I care is, was your vulture squawking about how you're tired, so you can't do the scene?
Exactly.
To which you tell your vulture, I'm going to take it from where I am.
Yeah.
However I'm feeling is a fine place to do the scene. If I'm tired, he's tired. And wouldn't he be tired and hungover? He was drunk.
Yeah.
So the universe sent you a gift of drinking heavily last night. Perfectly align yourself with his circumstances. And you went, no, I don't want that gift. I want to spend the scene kicking myself for having drank.
Yes.
So what I'm hearing, though, is a lot of you blaming yourself. And when you're angry at yourself, you need to remind yourself, you're the only one mad at you.
Yes.
God, she ain't mad at you. He ain't mad at whoever, you know? You're mad at you. If you're mad at you, that means you have the power to forgive yourself unconditionally all the time. And so I hope that you'll practice that whenever your vulture wants to tell you all the bad things you did yesterday. You just keep saying over and over, no, I forgive myself unconditionally. I forgive myself unconditionally. I had to do that because I was big into blaming myself for everything. So anything else you want to share about your experience of doing that scene?
Oh, I mean, it was fun besides those things.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, that shit's a bummer, and that's why I teach people how to get rid of that stuff, and then the rest becomes easy. I thought that was a good audition. However, the number one thing we must make as our top priority is behaving as if it's really happening. And, and when our vulture squawks, that gets difficult. And so you had some moments while your vulture was squawking where it was harder to behave as if it's really happening. Also, your scene comprehension in some moments was a little vague, and so it made some of the moments difficult. So, for instance, when you say "yeah," so anyway, that's an improv about something, and we don't care what it's going to look like or sound like, but you do have to understand what that's an improv about, because a scene is kind of a series of these moments that are about literally something is happening, and what's happening there is he does not remember her name.
Yeah.
And he's trying to say what he thinks maybe the name is without finishing it, so that maybe she'll like, and I didn't get that you understood that, or maybe something happened with the sound. Also, it's very important to remember in every scene, if it's really happening, that means you don't know what's going to happen, right? And we know it says freaking out. That means he is freaking out that she's in his bed and wants her out of his bed.
Yeah.
And that means you don't know if you will be able to get her out of the bed, because if you just kind of seem like you know how everything's going to work out, then the scene can't build, nothing can happen, because you're not behaving as if it's really happening. I'm not saying he's a guy who panics, but I kind of halfway through the scene, it felt like you knew she was going to leave.
Exactly.
And so nothing was happening anymore because you lost what was literally obviously happening.
Okay.
Is there anything else? Okay, so, but I thought it was really terrific besides, and I would like to do an exercise I love, because it gets rid of the moment when the scene begins and we are under pressure to act.
Cool.
And so I'm just going to talk to you about your life. And this is an exercise just for you to remember how you really think and communicate. And then in the middle of us talking, I'm going to say, I'm starting the scene. And the goal is, when we begin the scene, don't look down at the script, because it'll ruin it. Jump right into the scene, but bring right with you into the scene how you really think and communicate, so that we can't tell the scene began. You follow? Now, take a moment, though, and look at your lines, just because I don't want you to look down right when the scene begins.
Cool. I'm good.
So when I start the scene, you'll jump into the circumstances, but bring right into the scene how you really think and communicate, so we can't tell the scene began. And to do that, you've got to let go of any way you ever thought to say these lines, because we already saw that anyway. And instead just go, well, I'll just see what happens. I'll just improv that, but saying these words, So what did you have for breakfast today?
I had a sandwich at this little egg bagel place.
Yeah, and again, this is just for you to remember how you really think and communicate. When you were young, what were some schools you went to? Your elementary school?
I went to Carmel Del Mar Elementary, this little school, and there's a lot of green trees around. And I went
to able to lean back in your chair? I'm just curious, because you seem hunched over, and I always tell actors it's best to make your home base leaning back, and then feel free to lean forward.
Okay.
Okay. And when you were younger, maybe in middle school, who were your best buddies?
I had two friends, one small, younger, one older, one played bass.
And what did you guys do to have fun? Was it video games or what?
More like playing tennis, just running around,
Where would you play tennis?
There was some tennis courts near my house, and we would just do that, and then hit with and then we used a video with lightsabers and stuff, and make the rocket.
I want to remind you, you have permission to fucking hate me, and that this exercise is purely for you to remember how you really think and communicate. Okay. Explain to me everything around that tennis court. What was there?
So there's all these little pine cones that fell on the tennis court. So you always had to dust them out, and then when you would And
who was the friend that was a bad influence? Maybe he got the beer for you guys, or did you ever have a friend who would find parties or?
Yeah. His name was Max. He was redheaded. He'd go in the canyon and do crazy stuff.
And what was your least favorite food as a kid that you hated?
I think Mexican food. He was super spicy.
So I release and destroy my need to be funny. I'm just here to tickle myself with my own genuine human behavior when I'm freaking out looking at a girl and then she wakes up and shit. But you were saying Mexican food. Why did you hate it?
I just sometimes if I would eat too many chips and then my stomach would hurt so much.
Did you have a teacher who you fucking hated?
And What did I?
Teacher that you fucking hated?
Yeah, in 5th grade, there was one teacher.
How did it feel being in that fucking class?
Annoying. I'm always wanting to
Right.
leave.
We're starting the scene. Hey,
Hi.
come cuddle with me.
The cuddle window is over.
See, I can sure as hell tell you started the scene. And so I may have thrown you off when I reminded you that you're free to tickle yourself with your own genuine human behavior. But the most important thing we can do is bring when you're talking about your life, you're remembering how you think and communicate. I want you to bring that right into the scene so we can't tell it began. So how would you feel when your parents would take you to the Mexican restaurant?
Just annoyed because I felt like I was just gonna eat all the chips and salsa, and then I was just gonna feel horrible all
Did you have
night.
a chore you fucking hated?
Taking out the trash.
Why? How would you feel when you'd have to do it?
Real annoyed because I have to go out
Starting
back.
the scene. Hey,
Hi.
come cuddle with me.
The cuddle window's over.
When?
Well, when I got sober.
Don't tell me you were drunk when you had your fingers up inside my.
So anyway,
Okay, so good. So what I'm getting is that I feel like it's almost like there's quotes around everything. You're not really looking at me freaking out. You're looking at me freaking out. And this is based on you thinking your job is to show me what the scene will look like in the finished product instead of having a selfish experience of having faith that I really am an ugly girl and having faith that and trusting that I'm actually in your bed and you're just praying I don't wake up. Or that you could just wish me away into the dark space. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, yeah.
You really got to let go of the ways you thought to do the scene, and you've got to let go of your desire to make me happy, because I want you to be doing this for you. And so that's why I really want you to fucking hate me. Imagine I'm that math teacher that you hated, and I want you to act this from your 8-year-old self. So tell me, when you were younger, something that you said you hated doing what chore?
Taking out the trash.
Yeah, okay. And who would make you do that?
My dad usually.
And tell me everything about your dad. What you didn't like about how he gave you chores.
He's just like an engineer, and like when I came home, he would just tell me to do something, like rather than trying to like ask how my day was.
Where did your dad tend to be when he would do that?
I don't know. He would be like.
Okay, we're starting the scene. Hey.
Hi.
Yeah. You're giving me the exact same thing every time, which says that you don't want to see what happens, but instead you want to get it right. And that's just my opinion. But I want to be clear with you. You're not sleeping. It says Todd is staring at an ugly girl sleeping in his bed.
Okay.
We're starting the scene. Hey.
Hi.
Come cuddle with me.
The cuddle window's over.
When?
When I got sober.
Don't tell me you were drunk when you had your tongue buried deep inside.
Anyway, Mar?
Teresa.
Right, Teresa. Well, the thing is, last night was great, but yeah, but I gotta go down and I gotta eat breakfast.
It's 6 a.m.
Well, for people, half the day's already over.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you. That time, was that easier or harder than the other times?
Easier, but I still find the need.
Was that one more fun or less fun than the other times?
More fun.
Okay, so this is a great thing about this workshop. Whenever actors have an incredible adjustment, and now you're behaving as if it's really happening. That was terrific. They always say it was easier and more fun, which I guess means acting is easier and more fun than you thought. Right?
Easy,
if it's better and it's easier, that means it's not better because we worked on the scene at all or you learned some new technique. If it's better and easier, that means it's better because you stop being involved in things you don't need to be involved in, things that make your acting harder and not as good, which was anything your vulture was saying, because I think you'll agree that time you had a lot less vulture squawking, right?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking.
No, your vulture squawking is not you thinking. You're allowed to think when you act, but you don't want a mean-spirited voice telling you that you're not an actor. So that means all you got to do next time you act is tell your vulture, no, I release and destroy my need for anything you're saying. Even if it sounds totally true, I release and destroy my need for it. And then you'll do what you just did so easily and so well. So I asked you if that was easier and you wanted to talk about something. You said, yeah, but what?
I kind of forgot what I was thinking about, but yeah.
Exactly. I would bet that it was more uncomfortable because I tell you guys, acting on film is, I call it jumping out into darkness and trusting a net will catch you.
Yes.
And that's very uncomfortable and exciting, but it would only be scary if you could fail. And I have a reality where I can't fail when I act. And to have that reality, you only have to understand 5 concepts. It's the last chapter of my book for a reason. It's very important that we create a reality where there's no such thing as failure, so you'll allow yourself to have the experience you just had where you didn't care and you had no reality where you could fail.
Yes.
Okay?
Cool.
Good. You've got to behave as if it's really happening. It's the most important thing because it is what makes us castable.
Yes.
You know, you may be wrong for the part. You may not do the scene the way they wanted it to be done. But if you're behaving as if it's really happening, I really think it's like 2 out of 10 actors do that. Because most actors are just desperately trying to show what the scene will look like. And that's not behaving as if it's really happening. Anyway, so if you're one of the 2 out of 10 actors who do that, that casting person will keep bringing you back to the right role comes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Good work.
Thanks, Jack.
You're welcome. Right, you're gonna drink a lot of water the day after you drink a lot, and also before you go to bed, I learned electrolytes, and you can buy them in the Pedialyte section, the baby section. I tell you, my hangovers are like nothing. I don't even have hangovers now that I do electrolytes. Listen to this. What other acting class do you drunks get such good? No, I'm kidding. You're not a drunk, but I like to drink sometimes. Boy, especially during this pandemic. So I'm going to take that off. No, how do I? Okay, so who? Tom, what scene are you doing? I have no idea.
Howard. I'm doing Howard, Jack.
Did you email me this?
You emailed it to me.
Okay, is the file called Howard?
Yes, it is. Howard Size.
I found it. Yes, one of my students gave me a folder of scenes recently, and I was like, oh, good, because I was running low. Now, because I've never read this scene before, could you just give us a little, in a nutshell, what it's about? Uh-oh, did I freeze or did you?
It's me, Jack. So, yeah, I've tried everything to fix it. Let's just see what we can do.
Can you tell us in a nutshell what the scene is about?
Yes, it's a scene about a father and son. They're at the son's Christmas wedding, and the son is reconciling by inviting the father to the wedding, and Howard is the father.
Okay, so you're the dad.
Yeah.
That is being that the son is invited to a Christmas party to reconcile with. Is it a drama?
Yes.
Oh, Tom, I'm so heartbroken. Like, you're completely frozen. Do you think maybe we should let another person go and come back to you?
Yeah, I don't know that it'll make a difference, but it might. So let's give it a shot.
Okay, I apologize, Diane, but do you think you'd be okay doing your scene now? I see you, Diane. You okay? I'm going to give you a moment so you can prepare. Tom, we'll be back to you. This is just what it is with the internet. So, okay, Tom, good luck. I'm going to bring you right back, Tom, after Diane. So let's hope for the best. Okay, Diane is going to be doing a scene called Yanni. So I need to look that up. Now, for you people who have never seen this scene, it's from a filmed half-hour comedy. And Yanni is the boss at, I believe, like a senior living facility. And are we doing scene 1 or scene 2?
Choose.
Okay, and Yanni is not the kind of boss you'd want. Let me just put it that way. I'm sharing that with the people out there. So it says that this scene takes place in a hallway, and Kate, who works for Yanni, and Yanni stand hiddenish in the hallway observing Mark. I have the first line, so Diane, I'm going to wait till you let me know you're ready, and we'll begin.
Okay, I'm ready.
He hasn't been hearing that well recently.
Yeah, right. I've noticed.
I asked how his kids were, and he thought I said something different.
What did they think you said?
Well, he thought I asked if his pits hurt, and then he lifted up his shirt to show his underarms, and all torn up, like from scratching, all the hair ripped out.
All of it?
Well, there were some little strands left, I guess, but most of it, poor guy.
How much water have you been giving him?
Normal. He goes through maybe a pitcher a day.
Keep way much better track, please.
Of how much water he drinks.
That and everything. Oh, hey. Do you want to grab dinner sometime this week after work? Like Chi-Chi's or something at the mall?
Me and you?
Of course, dummy. Unless if you want to invite Michelle. But you know what? A, nah. And B, I have noticed between you some tension.
Me and Michelle have tension?
Yeah, I don't know. You tell me. How about Thursday night? We could grab a round of Dance Revolution at that place, you know, near the food.
Oh, okay, sure.
Good. That's very good.
Okay, good. I'm gonna stop. Yeah. Good. So very good. What's your experience of that? Anything come up you don't care for? Anything your vulture was squawking about?
Well, right before, my vulture was like, we don't know what's going to happen because you didn't plan it. And so I just did it anyway.
And let me talk to your vulture now. Okay, so yeah, I know I didn't plan it. And what's your point? What do you mean by we don't know what's going to happen? And then what does she say back?
She says, well, first of all, you know, well, here's what, okay. When I completely don't have ideas while I'm learning the lines, like every time an idea comes, just stop and ugh.
She means an idea of a line reading.
Yes. And like,
yeah, don't think line readings when you're memorizing. It actually makes memorizing almost impossible because you're not focusing on what the words mean. So you're not really taking in the line.
Right.
Then you can't paraphrase because you don't even know what the line means because you've been focusing on a line reading. Anyway, go on.
So that was like, oh, but there's a little like, oh.
If you're talking about something that happened while you're memorizing, I like to focus on what happened while you were acting.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. While I was acting, that was it was kind of like, oh, I just felt a little at sea because I didn't plan what would happen.
Paul, I said acting on film is like jumping out into darkness and trusting a net will catch you. We don't go to an audition to show them the way the scene would look. We go to an audition to discover in front of them one of the many ways the scene could look. Yeah. So what you are describing right now is not your vulture squawking. You're describing the experience a film actor has when they're going, oh, I didn't expect that to be like that. And, oh, neat, I didn't expect to have this thought or that thought. But we don't focus on that because we want to keep behaving as if it's really happening. So that's, you've moved off the topic of what your vulture was saying. You said your vulture said you didn't prepare anything.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you would say, I release and destroy my need to have prepared. I release and destroy my need to know what I'm going to do. But then I have a feeling your vulture had something underneath that. Like, for instance, well, you might make a bad choice. You may not, you know what I mean? To which you'd have to really let it understand. I release and destroy my need to do well in this scene. I release and destroy my need to be funny, whatever. You got to get into what your vulture is really saying because she means other things. She may be talking about an issue of perfection. Well, how can it be perfect if you haven't planned it? I release and destroy my need to be perfect.
I need to be perfect. I am allowing myself to just do it badly.
So, okay, well, now I feel like we're now talking about things that felt better than usual based on what you've been working on. Do you have anything to share in that category?
Yeah, it is different. I always thought that for many years I was working spontaneously, and it was not until you and the few times we've worked that I realized that those thoughts would come in after I worked spontaneously and did my exercises and threw it away, and then boom. And I felt like I had to practice.
So you're saying my vulture no longer gets away with saying something she used to get away with because of the work you're doing with me. And whatever it is that she's no longer saying is allowing you to actually let yourself be surprised how the words come out. To which I would say, right? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yes.
I would say, fan-fucking-tastic. Because your vulture now knows you're not interested. Your vulture isn't saying the truth. She's saying what she thinks you will listen to currently. And you no longer will listen to those things, but she'll move on to new things. Your vulture is as smart as you are. There's like a million things you can say to ruin your experience. That's why it's our job as we're in the waiting room and as we're walking into the room and maybe even during our scene to be shutting our vulture up by saying what we need to say. Now, I want to clarify though, I'm not telling actors to just like read the scene once and then like just see what happens.
Right.
I do memorize and I do scene comprehension. Scene comprehension is where you find out what's literally obviously happening in every moment. And you do that by saying, this is really happening to me. So what's happening? So you're not going in there blind, Diane. This fear your vulture's trying to instill in you because you don't know what you're going to do is fucking bullshit. You know why? You know everything that's happening in the scene. You just don't know quite what it will look and sound like.
Yeah.
So in other words, our vulture tries to convince us, what if you go in there and pull your pants down and poop on the floor? It's like, I'm not going to. It's not one of the circumstances. So you'll never embarrass yourself if you've done your scene comprehension and you're doing those circumstances in front of them. My note for you is that, and it's so important, all the fun of comedy and drama comes from understanding that you don't know what I'm going to say and you don't know what you're going to say. And throughout this scene, there was always a kind of a little bit of a feeling that you knew what I was going to say, which gave you nothing to react to. Not that I need to see reactions, but you do want to have faith you don't know what I'm going to say so that you can receive it. Have faith you have a thought. Maybe a thought will pop into your head, and then it creates a need to say your next line, and then you do an improv about saying your next line.
Okay.
I would also say that your scene comprehension was pretty good, but there were some moments where I was like, like there's a moment when you say, let me see. So first you're just asking questions. It's an improv about asking questions. How you want to do that? I don't care. Because there is no right way to do it. That's supposed to surprise you in the performance, or because it's a comedy, you could have a general idea of your attitude if you wanted to. But then all of a sudden you say, how much more have you been giving him? Then, and I'm not saying to show me a big change, but what's been literally happening has changed there. You've gone from tell me what's happening to, well, now I want to know your part in this. And then she says maybe a picture a day. And then you are now reprimanding her from out of nowhere based on what she just said.
Yes.
It's not more of the same. It's something new.
I see.
Then of how much water he drinks. And then the next line, that and everything. You're now not only reprimanding her, but you're telling her you can't do anything right. Which is not what you've been doing so far. So the whole first page felt more of the same, more of the same. And so I didn't feel you understood what was happening. Then suddenly real friendly doesn't mean you have to physicalize that, but you can. But it's just suddenly out of nowhere. And maybe the less you show us, the better in terms of that you're changing. But it's just, I go from, it's an improv, it's going from an improv about telling someone you don't know how to do anything in your job to, what are you doing this weekend? Do you want to maybe like catch a movie down at the, you know what I mean? It's an improv about that. And if you change it into that, it will take care of everything else. You don't have to do anything, but just do an improv about asking your best friend to go out to the mall. And you want to throw the words away, Diane. Just let them tumble out of your face.
Okay.
Let them get stopped by something bigger than you. Forgetting your next line is a great reason to get stopped. But I didn't feel on the second page you were throwing away the words.
Yeah.
It felt like you were delivering the words.
Yes.
And that's not what people do in real life.
Remember the words. Remember the words. Remember the words.
I know, but don't slow the words down because you're afraid you might paraphrase. Go ahead and paraphrase. Or don't slow the words down because you're afraid you might stutter or stumble. Go ahead and stutter and stumble. And don't slow the words down because you're afraid to leave a silent moment. Because you could totally do this. Hey, you want to grab dinner some night? You know, we could like go to Chi-Chi's, maybe something nice down at the mall. Do you see?
Yeah.
Okay, so don't pull the reins on a scene and slow it down because you're afraid you might step in shit. Step in shit. That's the goal. So we're going to do the scene again. I'm going to say some affirmations, ask a couple questions, and we'll go into it. I release in a storm. I need to be funny. I'm just here to tickle myself with my genuine human behavior when I'm always kind of pushing down disgust or frustration with people because nobody's as smart as I am. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm not an actress. I'm just here to be me and enjoy playing the circumstances. I'm going to take it from where I am. But what did you, when you were younger, what chores did you have to do?
I did clean my room and sometimes wash.
What were you very good at?
Huh? What was I good at? Playing the piano, playing the flute.
Okay, so fuck it. The director just said, hey, I already have everything I need. So I guess this one's for you. Whatever, just behave as if it's really happening. Just want to surprise yourself. Take all the time you want and you have permission to do it badly. And here we go.
Yeah.
She hasn't really been hearing that well recently.
Yeah, I noticed.
I asked how his kids were and he thought I said something different.
What did he think you said?
He thought I asked if his pits hurt, and then he lifted up his shirt and showed me his armpits, which were all torn up, like from scratching, all the hair ripped out.
Mm-hmm. All of it?
Well, there were little strands left, I guess, but most of it. Poor guy.
How much water have you been giving him?
Normal. He goes through about a pitcher a day.
I need you to keep much better track of that.
Of how much water he drinks?
That and everything. Hey, would you want to grab some dinner after work sometime this week? Like Chi-Chi's or, something at the mall?
Me and you?
Yeah, of course, dummy. Unless you want to invite Michelle, but A, nah. And B, I've been sensing some tension between the two of you.
Me and Michelle have tension?
Well, you tell me because I don't know. But how about Thursday night? Because then we could grab some Dance Dance Revolution at that place over near the food.
Okay, sure.
Good. Very good. Bring him to bed now, please.
It's only 7:30.
Now, please.
Okay, good. So what's your experience that time? Was that easier and more fun?
Yes, sir.
None of us are surprised because it was a much better audition. And not only that, when your vulture is silent, which she was that time, you become a vessel to the scene. Meaning when I pick up a script, the scene is in the air around me. It's waiting for an honest vessel to funnel through. And you understood this scene better this time because your vulture wasn't squawking. The scene was allowed to channel through you, and it just made your scene comprehension better. Like, I really felt you didn't quite get that line about unless you want to invite Michelle, but A, nah, and B, you guys have tension. Like the first time I felt like you wanted Michelle to go. And this time you just really got that from the outgo. Oh God, I hate Michelle. Not her. So it was so fun. And what I also love this moment you allowed to happen. And I was so glad because I was about to feel like you were sort of just rushing through the scene. But when you did the improv about, hey, you want to grab dinner? I can't remember. It was a noise you made if you watch it back. You made this noise that people make when they're just kind of talking to someone that they're friends with, and they're allowed to go. Ah. And that's stuff that books work, guys. You can't plan stuff like that. You can only allow it to come to you by understanding that a scene is not a narrow hallway you're running down where you got to say the words and say them well. It instead break down those walls and see the scene as this big, wide open playing space where anything can happen. These are just the words, but anything could happen in terms of thoughts, feelings, sounds, movement, added words. And then my last note for you is, while I'm glad you wanted to feel anger with her, you've got to remember nobody wants to start yelling at someone. And so you've got to push it down. And the good news is if you had pushed down that frustration with me, it would have made you feel it more, and then we would have felt it more. But because you kept wanting to bring it up and show us, we didn't feel anything because you weren't.
Right.
Instead, you felt a responsibility to show. So everyone out there, please remind yourself, you must want to feel, but remember the character doesn't. And when you push down a seed of an emotion, it grows stronger. You get more frustrated. We see more genuine human behavior. But those moments, we didn't get to see genuine human behavior because you were pulling up the anger, which no one does. But that's a very small thing. I was so proud of you. That was a delicious audition. Wonderful. Thank you, Diane.
Jack, mwah, mwah, mwah.
Tom, we're going to come back to you now and hope for the best. Hi there. Are you
Hi.
frozen in that position? Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Tom, do you want to maybe try at the end of the day? Around
Sure.
4:30?
Sure. I'll come back at 4:30 your time. Sure.
If you could, check back in at 4:15 because I really don't know how fast it's gonna go.
Okay, 4:15. Great.
Okay. So that means that up now we have Janet. So Janet, I'm sorry that we're kind of didn't let you. Okay,
Things
good.
happen. It's zoomy.
Okay.
But the funny thing is I'm doing the same scene that was just done.
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it. I heard it, and then I recognized I need to leave the room.
Did you?
So, yeah, but then I did hear you talk about pushing down the anger at the end because I wanted to come in.
That's fine.
Okay.
You can hear that, shouldn't affect it. But let me tell you, Janet, and everyone out there, that I am so sorry. I really, really try to not have the same scene twice, but I fucked up. So I didn't mean to have you perform the scene on a day anyone else was performing it. I'm sorry.
Well, I have another scene, but it's not memorized yet. So
Well, I think that if all you heard was me talking about a concept that I talk about in every workshop, which is that if you're feeling any feeling, most feelings like sadness or anger, you push it down. But that's me. That's not some acting tip, you guys. That's me describing to you how you live your life. Nobody wants to start screaming at someone. Nobody wants to start crying. But when you push down anger, it grows stronger, and you may find that you're yelling. But it's got to come from being pushed down. So I think it's absolutely fine that we see the scene again, and if that's all you heard, it shouldn't affect your audition at all. As a matter of fact, when you go to some casting places, they have a paper thin wall, and you hear everyone's audition before you. So in all honesty, this is exactly like a lot of the casting offices I'll go to. So anyway, let me pull back up the scene.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you did walk away and not just like listen to it, because that's no fun. I don't like to really hear what someone's doing with a scene, but sometimes I always find it fascinating because invariably, sometimes I will listen to someone doing my scene because it almost always makes me feel better because I hear someone overacting, meaning they're not behaving as if it's really happening. They're talking too loud for the room. They're pushing it and being false. And when I hear that, I'm like, wow, all I have to do is just say the words and just behave as if it's really happening. I'll be better than that poor guy who's trying so desperately to control it. You know what I mean? Because everyone thinks that person before them is doing something brilliant.
Yeah.
And so we all walk into the audition room like as if we're like tap dancing to save our life, desperate. And the thing is, that's what everyone's doing. When you walk in and you're not doing that, you're the breath of fresh air. When you're like, hey, I'm here for me to just see what happens, to just behave as if it's really happening. So anyway, I have the first line, so I'll wait till you tell me you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. He hasn't been hearing all that well recently.
Right, I've noticed.
Yeah, I asked how his kids were, and he thought I said something different.
Well, what did he think you said?
He thought I asked if his pits hurt, and then he pulled up his shirt and he showed me his armpits, which were all torn up like from scratching and like all the hair ripped out.
All of it?
Well, I mean, there was a little strands left, and I get, but most of it. Poor guy.
How much water have you been giving him?
Normal? Yeah, he goes through a pitcher a day.
You need to take care of everything a lot better.
Of how much water he drinks?
Yeah, that and everything. Hey, would you like to go out to dinner sometime this week after work? Say Chi-Chi's at the mall?
Me and you.
Yeah, dummy. Unless you want to invite Michelle. But A, nah, and B, I think you guys have tension.
Me and Michelle have tension?
Well, you tell me, I don't know. Hey, how about Thursday? We can go and get a little Dance Revolution in at that place, where we eat.
Okay, sure.
Good. Very good. Bring him to bed, please.
It's only 7:30.
Now, please.
It's hard to imagine you playing dance.
Now.
Good, wonderful. What was your experience of that? Anything come up you don't care for? Anything your vulture was squawking?
Yeah. My vulture is very loud. And it's he was saying, he, she, whatever, was saying, you're gonna screw this up again.
Yeah, it's hard to enjoy the uncomfortable excitement of acting when you have a vulture on your shoulder saying, you're going to screw this up again. But that's what's so marvelous about, well, first off, it's obvious what the affirmation is. Because almost always you'd start with, I release and destroy my need to not screw this up.
Okay, to not screw it up.
If I screw it up, fine. I was meant to screw it up. It saved my life somehow. But what I love about the ninth take, the secret to acting, is the director just told you, oh, you can totally screw this take up. I already have what I need. Okay. Remember? That's why the ninth take is so important.
Okay.
You know, other teachers put it this way. One teacher I've heard says, tell yourself, this isn't how I'm really going to do it. Other teachers will say, you know, give yourself permission to do it badly, whatever it is. But you got to get that vulture to shut up, which means you can't wait till you're acting to start saying affirmations.
Okay.
You want to be saying them all day, only when your vulture squawks. And you'll know she squawked because you'll feel bad. So you'll say to her, what did you say? She'll repeat it and just say whatever you need to say to let her know, well, I don't want to talk about that. I'm not interested in that. That's not based in love.
Okay, you know? I have a question here. You say to only do the affirmations when the vulture is squawking at you.
As a response to your vulture. Otherwise, you'd have to spend your whole life walking around saying affirmations, and that's not my technique.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Yes, I say them in response because as soon as I say them, my vulture's silent. And when my vulture's silent, I'm unreasonably happy because I'm so grateful to be alive. So if I have moments where I start to feel ungrateful for life and start sweating the small stuff, that's my vulture saying, oh, you know, you know, and then, so you always all day long want to be saying them when your vulture squawks so that in the audition, she's weak because she knows she's not in charge.
Okay.
So anything else your vulture was saying besides you're going to screw this up again? And by the way, does you're going to screw this up again sound like anything from your past, your childhood?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so have we talked about this?
Yeah, we have.
So please continue doing that work because that's not, that voice in your head saying you're going to screw this up again might sound like that person from your childhood, but it's not them, it's you.
Right.
So when are you going to drop that baton and treat yourself with the unconditional love and respect that you should have been treated with from the beginning? Start now. You're the mother to your inner child. Your parents are not your parents anymore. Okay. They're just people you pay polite respect to if they're alive and for the work they put in. You forgive them for everything, but you're not a part of that. It's almost like you've got a picture of you with your family. Imagine you cut yourself out and you put those two pictures on the refrigerator because that's your new relationship with them. They're right there if you wanted to see them and love them, but you're not a part of that. You follow? So that means I want you to continue reminding yourself they're not ... Whenever you're around people, whenever you're talking to people. And then you won't have that thought come into your head. You know, I'm talking so much because I just friggin' loved that audition. I have nothing to say. I don't even need to see it again. It was so marvelous. I just loved it.
Okay.
Does that surprise you?
Yeah, very much.
Why?
Because I'm just surprised.
What's coming up for you emotionally? You don't have to say anything you don't want to. Or you can say nothing.
No, it feels really good and just surprising.
Okay.
It feels really good and just surprising. And then there's a little bit of sadness, like, oh, I really like hearing that.
Yes. Well, it's sadness for
the past.
This is why,
the past.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not talking about you right now. I'm sharing this with the people out there. This is why a lot of, like, for instance, abused women, when they leave their abuser, will go and get with another abuser. It's because if they were with someone who didn't abuse them, it would be too hard to receive love. And because it would be too painful for all the time they didn't receive it. It's an interesting thing about humans. So anyway, I love that you allowed yourself to feel that sadness, because that's part of growth, and it's part of letting go, it's part of the grief process for when you have things you have to let go of from your past.
Right.
But the goal here when you come to my workshop is to do your second or third take the first time. And boy, did you. You really let go of a lot of things you used to carry. And I want to talk now about that. What did your vulture not say today that she used to get away with saying? And I don't want to put words in your mouth. You can say, no, this didn't feel much better. Or you can say, yeah, you know what? My vulture used to be able to say this, this, and this, and now she can't.
Well, I have issues with perfectionism. So before we started, I said I release and destroy the need to be perfect.
So your vulture, while you were acting, used to squawk about the concept of perfection and how you had to be perfect. And today she did it, and it allowed you to do what you just did. And she'll never get away with saying that again as long as you continue saying that, and then watch because she'll move on to a new argument about why you should fail. And make sure you stay tuned into it. But yeah, I just thought it was really terrific. I just didn't have any notes. I want to look through it now and see if you were auditioning for this, if I'd have any notes. Oh, I would say this. In a literal, obvious sense, it says they're standing hiddenish in the hallway observing Mark. So you don't have to do this, but I do think it would be fun if you brought your voice down a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And these are some of the obvious things that actors miss because they get involved in worrying about things that are actually less important than the literal, obvious circumstance. But it didn't bother me because, in a way, she's an obnoxious boss, so I enjoy the fact that you were talking at full volume. And I loved everything you were doing. So then I loved all that. You were so mean. Oh, so this is my only note. If you were going in on this, I would say, when it says suddenly real friendly, I would just say that you can kind of like ease into that. It's not it's not like you don't have to make that some big, oh, hey, because the whole point of see, here's what's literally happening. This is not me being creative. Her scheme is to behave as if they've always been friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were to go, oh, hey, you want to go out? That's not people who have always been friends. You want to know what people who've always been friends, they do this. Hey, you want to like go out tonight like we always do? She's gaslighting her. But I didn't think your choice was wrong. It was still in the circumstances. I'm telling you what I would do based on these circumstances, because to me, that's more what I think she's really doing. I don't think I'm being clever.
Okay. No, I can see that.
Yeah, but I just loved it. And I think you should be very proud of yourself.
Okay.
The work you're doing is paying off.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, so you're welcome.
Okay.
So up next is Anastasia. Am I saying that right? There you are. So hi there.
How are you?
I'm good. What scene are you doing? I don't have it here.
I'm doing Stephanie, and I think it's from Desperate Housewives.
Yes. Yes, I know the scene. So for the people who haven't seen this is from an hour-long dramedy, which is just like a drama, but you could tickle yourself if you want to. But it's an hour-long dramedy, Desperate Housewives. And in this scene, one of the housewives, I guess, is approaching a mall kiosk to talk to the girl that works there about a boy that this housewife is now dating, who used to date this girl. So listen, your lighting is fine today, but in the future, you want to always have a light facing your face. Right now, your only light is hitting you here. Mm-hmm. And so, but don't worry about it, because I can see all your features, so I don't need you to move. I'm just putting this out there to everyone in terms of this new thing, which we're going to be doing so much of, which is you always want to make sure, like, I'm facing a big wide open window so that the light's hitting me, and it also makes us look pretty. Not that you don't look pretty. I need a lot of light to look pretty. You don't. But anyway, you have the first line. So when you're ready, you can begin, and we'll do this scene.
Okay. You're all set. It should last 2 weeks. Just stay out of direct sun and really hot jacuzzi.
Hi. I don't know if you remember, I'm Annie Miller, Jason's employer, but also more recently.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Can you talk to me for a minute?
No.
I'm sorry. Is this too painful for you?
No, I've dumped him. I just have a henna quote to meet by lunchtime, and I do not want to get fired again. This is already my 3rd kiosk job.
Then tattoo me. Oh, I never thought I'd say those words. What's your specialty?
Dragons and unicorns. And unicorns are basically just dragons with a horn.
Well, then dragon it is. Oh, these are temporary though, right?
I don't even know if it'll take dry, old, porous skin, but I'll try.
What kind? Anyway, that reminds me, did Jason ever tell you about his assault charge?
Did he tell you that, or did you run a background check?
Oh, no, I found out in an entirely inadvertent way, and I was simply wondering if you might know the circumstances behind it.
Okay. When I worked at a bikini kiosk, this guy kept showing up and hitting on me. I told him to leave me alone, but he wouldn't. And when Jason found out, he waited for the guy in the parking lot and beat the hell out of him.
Oh my God.
I know. It wasn't pretty.
Doesn't sound like it. It proves the old-fashioned chivalry isn't dead.
And in my case, it proves that you shouldn't have a bikini kiosk in front of a beer garden. But yeah.
Okay, good. Let's stop there. Good work. I've seen you one other time. Is that right? Or
No, you haven't seen me.
ever.
Ever.
So, what was your experience? I thought that was lovely. What was your experience? Anything come up you don't care for? Was there anything your vulture was squawking?
Since we've been quarantined, I haven't really been talking much because, you know, who am I talking to? And I feel like I should warm up my mouth. You know what I mean?
No, that's part of your vulture telling you you're not where you need to be to do the scene. And
Yeah.
so you just say, look, I'm going to take it from where I am. If I haven't talked at all today, then neither has she. You're not going to forget how to talk. Nonetheless, if you want to go out for a walk or do a little cardio warm up before you act, you're welcome to. Just know you don't have to. If you just say, I'm going to take it from where I am. So your vulture was saying, you can't talk right because you didn't warm up your mouth, to which you'd say, I release and destroy my need to be warmed up. I'm just going to take it from where I am.
Okay.
Anything else your vulture was saying?
That was pretty much it.
Well, that's good. Are you sure there's nothing else that came up you didn't care for?
It's probably with the speech thing, oh, don't mess up your lines. But I feel like that's everyone's little vulture. That's always.
No, but that doesn't matter. You also need to get over that. I release and destroy my need to not mess up my lines.
Okay.
Did you know you're allowed to paraphrase at an audition?
Yes.
Okay, so you know you're allowed to. I have many times. I don't want to, but I have many times and booked that job. Because I believe that until you are completely willing to paraphrase at an audition, you'll never book work because you'll always put getting a word perfect as more important than your selfish enjoyment of playing the circumstances. But the most important reason you want to say I release and destroy my need to know these words is that is how you will remember the words.
Mm-hmm.
Because when your vulture's going, you should know this better. Are you going to remember these lines? Then what happens is you can't remember your next line. Because our job is to not be thinking about our next line. They're saying their line, then they finish saying their line, which maybe we react to, and now it's time for us to remember our line. And in this blessed silent moment, the audience is projecting thoughts on you. So when you're waiting for your line to come, it looks like your character's thinking like real life. But if you, in that beautiful moment when as actors we're meant to remember our next line, have a vulture going, you got to know this line, you can't know the line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I release and destroy my need to know the words. Fuck the words. I have permission to paraphrase if I have to. And I can take all the time I want to stay up and remember the line because it looks like I'm thinking. It's the best moment of my audition because what could be more real than a human standing from another human thinking, what should I say, right? Because every scene you're ever going to do is a scene about a woman who doesn't know what she's going to say. But if we keep the scene moving by remembering all our lines quickly, we're just turning every scene into a scene about a woman who knows everything she's going to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then we wonder why I didn't book that job.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So that's why you should actually hope you forget your line so that you get some of those beautiful moments of just thinking, right? Okay. Anything that felt better than usual based on what you're playing with here today for the first time?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, I thought it was a very good audition. You had a lovely beginning, and then you got to this line. No, I dumped him. I just have a henna quarter to meet by lunchtime, and I don't want to get fired. Okay, that is when your vulture squawked very loudly.
Yep.
And I know that because you stopped behaving as if it's really happening. And this is why we've got to get control of our vulture, because they don't know that a vulture is squawking in your ear. They just go, oh, I liked her, but now I don't as much, you know? So what did your vulture say at that moment?
Don't mess up your lines.
Yeah, that's called paragraph panic. You tell your vulture, nope, fuck the words. I release and destroy my need to be perfect. I release and destroy my need to know these words perfectly. And I've got all the time I want to remember them, because you could go, I'm sorry, is this too painful? No. I dumped him, you know, and I just have a henna quote. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be great? It's a lot better than, no, I dumped him. I just have a henna quote to do, but you see it? So you put, in that moment, you put something more important than behaving as if it's really happening, which was you put getting the words out as more important. And so I hope you guys will always put behaving as if it's really happening. Nothing's more important than that, because that's what gets you brought back in by that casting woman. Okay? It's the 9th take when the director said, take all the time you want, and you have permission to do it badly. Now, other than that, what I loved was that you let go of the anxiety and you got back to behaving as if it's really happening, and you gave a beautiful audition. However, while I love that you brought those circumstances to life, which is that you're doing her henna, what I always tell actors is it's great to begin a scene with the activity you're involved in, but 2 or 3 lines in, something more important is happening. It's the reason the scene is there in the show. And it's more, and so while I also didn't mind that you returned down here for a moment, you just spent too long down here later, and I lost your eyes. The camera is your friend. And if it can't see your eyes, and that doesn't mean you're looking right in the camera, but even here is fine. But if it can't see your eyes because you're down here doing it, you know, you've lost that moment of your audition. So you can do it, but too much. So I want to do the exercise I love, because it gets rid of the moment when the scene begins and you're under pressure to act. And that is, we're going to talk about your life so you can remember how you really think and communicate. In order to do this exercise, when we jump into the scene, you've got to let go of any way you ever thought to do it, because we already saw that. Instead, say, I'll just see what happens. But I want you to remember how you really think and communicate. In the middle of us talking, I'm going to say, start the scene, or I'm going to start the scene. And the goal is to bring right into the scene how you really think and communicate, so that we can't tell the scene began.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with my line. I don't know if you remember me. I'm Annie Miller, Jason's employer. Okay?
Okay.
What did you have for breakfast today?
I had pizza with arugula.
Where do you buy your pizza, your breakfast pizza?
So I got it at Maria's Kitchen, and that's in Brentwood. And it was leftover pizza. So
When you were younger, what were the street names around your house?
It was 6th Street, Park, and...
Are you able to lean back in a chair and have us still see you? Could you bring the chair forward? Oh, that chair is really way too far back. Forget it. Forget it. In the future, when you're auditioning, I recommend you get a chair like mine where you can just gently lean back, because that's our home base as actors. But I don't mind if you're leaning forward, because in a henna kiosk, you probably would be leaning on the counter anyway, so don't sweat it.
Okay.
And when you were younger, what chores did your mom have you do?
She made me do laundry and folded all the laundry.
How did you feel when you had to do the laundry, or when she told you to do it?
I actually enjoyed it, because it was because I was, an only child, so it was an activity.
Were there a group of girls at your school that were bitches?
Yes, there were.
Where would you see them, and how did they make you feel?
I would see them in the morning, because we weren't in the same class. And
why were they such bitches? What was about their behavior?
They just thought that they were better than everyone, and
I remember, I'm Jason's employer, but also more recently.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Can you talk for a minute?
No.
I'm sorry, is this too painful?
No. I dumped him. I just have a henna quota to meet by lunchtime, and I do not want to get fired again. This is already my 3rd kiosk job.
Well, then tattoo me. I never thought I'd say that. Do you have like a specialty?
I do dragons and unicorns. And the unicorn is basically a dragon with a horn.
Oh, well, then dragon it is. Oh, I'm sorry. These are temporary though, right?
I don't even know if it'll take on such old, dry, porous skin, but I'll try.
What kind of you? Anyway, did Jason ever tell you anything about his assault charge?
Did he tell you about that, or did you run a background check?
No, I just found out, and I was wondering if you might know, like, the circumstances behind it.
Okay. When I was working at the bikini kiosk, this guy kept on showing up and hitting on me, and I told him to leave me alone, but he wouldn't. And when Jason found out, he waited for the guy in the parking lot and beat the hell out of him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
Wow, I guess it proves old-fashioned chivalry isn't dead.
And in my case, it proves that you shouldn't put a bikini kiosk in front of a beer garden. But yeah, I guess it was a little sexy.
You mind if I ask, why'd you break up with Jason?
I don't know. We were together for like a year and a half, and I guess he just never felt like he let me in. Also, have you seen his apartment?
Good. I'm going to ask you, was that easier or harder than the first time?
Easier.
Was it more fun or less fun?
More fun.
But that's the great thing about this workshop. Whenever actors have an incredible adjustment, and that, my darling, was just a stunning audition, they always say it was easier and more fun. So I guess that means acting must be easier and more fun than you thought, because you didn't do that the first time. Mm-hmm. And if it's better and it's easier, that means it's not better because you learned a new technique or we worked on the scene. It means it's better because you stopped being involved in things you don't need to be involved in. Mm-hmm. Things that make the acting harder and not as good, which was anything your vulture was saying, because that time, I think you'll agree, you had no vulture squawking, right?
Mm-mm.
Well, then here's how easy acting is. Next time you act, just tell your vulture, no, I release and destroy my need for anything you're saying. It'll shut up and you'll do what you just did so easily and so well. But you guys, all that exercise does is get our vulture to shut up. Because when you're talking about your childhood, you don't have a vulture saying, get the lines out, right? And then when you jump into the scene, often your vulture forgets you're doing a scene. Now, the affirmations are a better way of getting your vulture to shut up. So I don't do that exercise before an audition. Why do I need to remind myself how I think and communicate? I've been doing that all day. What I need to do is deal with the new thing that's in the room, which is that now I've got a vulture squawking. So I hear what he says and I respond specifically to what he's saying. He shuts up and you do what you just did so easily and so beautifully. Great work.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. Up next, we have Hillary, and she's not here in the room. So I may have to skip her and go to Gabriella. Gabby, her screen is off. Oh, Gabby, how would you feel about going now since Hillary isn't here? Would you be okay with that? Do you want a moment? Yes or no? To prepare? Yes, you want a moment? Or yeah, okay. Hi. I just don't want people to be on it. They don't want to be on it. They don't feel ready to be seen. Good to see you. Hello. Thank you for filling in at the last second.
Thank you.
What scene are you doing today?
Paris.
It's called Paris. Is Paris the name of the file?
Paris NCIS, I think.
I found it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Yes. So this is, and I've never read this scene. These are part of those new scenes I was just given, but this is from an hour-long drama, NCIS. It says, Paris, that's you, is sitting in a car on a stakeout. That makes me think you're a cop, right? Roy, me, slides into the car beside her. He puts coffee and a wrapped sandwich on the dash. I have the first line, so I'll wait until you say you're ready and we'll begin.
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Black coffee, 1 sugar, no mayo on the sandwich.
What do you want, Roy? An elephant stamp or something?
Maybe 1 for caring.
Why didn't you say go to hell when Hattie offered you this?
Just for a few months until Danny's back on deck.
Question was why, not how long.
Don't know why.
if you are looking for answers, you know.
No, I'm looking for answers. I'm trying to find answers. Kept me awake for 3 years. You had your reasons, Paris. If I needed to know, you would have told me.
Just until Danny is back then.
Okay.
What do you think? How are we going to do this?
I don't know.
So let's start with I'm the boss.
Sure.
You do what I say,
Got it.
and you keep your opinions to yourself.
Understood.
And no soccer indoors.
Okay.
You're going to ignore everything I just said, aren't you, Roy?
Absolutely. Damn. Sugar. Wrong one. Sorry.
Maybe I should have hit you harder.
No, it was good.
I'm sorry you got shot.
Me too. Don't let it happen again.
I won't. I promise.
I'm crying because I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Now you make me cry.
You know, you've been coming kind of regularly, and I'm just so blown away. You know, when people come in, you always want to do your second or third take the first time, and boy, did you. And I have nothing to say. It was a beautiful audition. You've clearly have no vulture squawking, and if you do, I couldn't tell. And you had such beautiful scene comprehension. It was a great example of not making choices, but instead allowing them to happen. A beautiful example of throwing away the words, having faith you ever thoughts, and inviting interesting thoughts and concepts to come to you. I talk about feeling uncomfortable. I felt so uninvited to this scene. I felt so uncomfortable watching this scene because I really felt like I was spying on two officers in a police cab, not that I was watching an audition. And that's how they want to feel. They want to feel uninvited, like they're peering behind a curtain, watching something they're not supposed to be watching. So everything you're doing is paying off. Why would you ever do anything else? Because your vulture is going to tell you, yeah, but for this audition, you should maybe blah, blah, blah. Go back to the old way. But nonetheless, let me let you talk for a second. Anything come up your vulture was saying that you didn't care for?
Nothing I could hear very clearly. It was
pause for 1 second. We're going to take a 4 minute break, maybe 3-minute break after this one and before Gabriella goes. Just letting everyone know. Okay, sorry. You were saying what your vulture might have been saying?
If I was saying anything, it wasn't super clear that I could hear it so clear.
Is there anything you want to share about your experience or any questions you have?
One thing that was really funny, since I just came in like 2 hours ago, that was actually super helpful for not, having to plan everything out, because I just got the scenes. I was like, okay, I'm just going to memorize it. And I'm just going to do scene comprehension.
Okay, so now will you just say you've learned not to plan anything out?
I guess so.
Guys, when I'm doing a drama audition, all I do is scene. I memorize with no interest in what the lines will sound like. So I'm memorizing with a disinterested, monotone, rhythmic robot voice. And then scene comprehension. When my vulture says, here's an idea about how to say a line, I say, that's a shitty idea because my heart isn't racing. I know that's a bad idea. Any idea you get when your heart isn't racing is a terrible idea. But anyway, I never say the words out loud how I might say them in the scene until I'm doing the audition in front of the producers and the writers and the casting director. And that's a gift you give yourself, because your auditions become totally spontaneous by definition. You don't have to pretend you've never said the words this way. You haven't. And the air is electric, and you can't make that happen. It's something you allow to happen by having faith and trust in what I in what I teach, which is how I approach it and how everyone I see on set's approaching it. which is not from a control plan. Let's run how we're going to do this, you know? But anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just love that you were kind of forced to really not make any plans for how you would, because when you do, you're setting grooves, and teachers will tell you, go ahead and set those grooves. And then when you get to the audition, just see what happens. The truth is you can't. Once you plan stuff, it is so fucking hard to get out of that groove and see what happens.
Yeah, I totally feel that. Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. So you liked that you didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah. No, and I do agree. Like, it's really hard to get away from those ideas. If I
You control your thoughts. It's not hard. If you say it's hard to get away from old ideas about acting, that's you letting your vulture win, saying, you're right, vulture, I can't control you. This is hard. No. That's true. I mean, it might take practice. And as I said, you've got to be saying, you've got to be learning to control your vulture all day. You can't wait till you get to the audition. But it's not hard to let go of old ways to do things. Is that what you meant? Old ways of doing things?
No, I meant if I would have planned it out beforehand, for me, it takes practice and you can let it go at one point. But for me,
I just said I
don't this little hallway that you talk about.
Exactly. But that's why I'm saying never plan it out again unless it's a sitcom. And if it's a sitcom, plan it out the half hour before you go in the room when your heart's racing. Now, I'm not saying not to do scene comprehension. You must do scene comprehension. And I do it in the waiting room, which is I look at the script and I say, this is really happening to me. So what's happening? And because my heart's racing and my brain is expanded, I'm able to see better what's literally and obviously happening in every moment than I would have the night before. That's why I do it when I get to the audition. And suddenly I'm able to, I'm reading all the stage directions and I'm really understanding every friggin' moment of the scene. So I don't feel like I'm walking into the room unprepared. I'm walking into the room completely unaware of quite what it'll look and sound like and what the thoughts will be and the feelings, but I know what's happening in that scene.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just so damn proud of you. What a beautiful drama audition. That was your best, and just you made it look so easy. You made it look so easy.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to share? No?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just going to take, really, I mean, it could, it's the time it takes me to eat half a sandwich. It's like 3 minutes. It's nothing. I will be right back, and then we will be on Gabriella, and if she isn't here by then, because I'm not, oh, no, that's you, sorry. We'll be on F Trango. I'm sorry that I don't know what your first name is, but that's the next name. Okay, so we'll be right back. See you guys in a moment. Hello. Does anybody have any questions about anything I've shared so far today? No? Okay. Who's F Trango? Oh no. I guess that person isn't here. Uh-oh. Michael. Michael, I think you're up. Oh dear. Yeah, Michael's up, but he didn't know. Hey, Michael, I see you now. Are you available to do your scene now, or did you want a minute? Would you like a minute, Michael? Because the woman before you isn't here. So, Michael, are you okay to perform now? You can say yes, or you no would mean I want a minute. Oh, okay. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, I'm chewing.
That's all right. I just was too.
Gulp.
It's perfect.
Yeah. So, what scene are you doing today?
I'm gonna do Clay Gibbons.
Oh yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know who F Trango is, but here. Okay, so I promise I'll be done chewing by the time I start. This is an hour-long drama, and I'm sharing this with everyone watching. Is that Clay is a? It says that they're running around the track, and he's with a woman he's friends with, but also secretly in love with. And I have the first line, so I'll wait until you let me know that you'd like me to begin, and then we'll do it.
Sure. I'm ready.
Here we go. Thanks. Hey, where were you? I called you last night.
Oh, I don't want to talk about it. My sister set me up. I had a blind date.
Was it good?
For the date, yes.
You didn't like her? You didn't like her?
I didn't like her enough to make me not like my sister anymore.
What was the problem?
Besides the fact that that I work for a newspaper and she's never seen one. Her favorite movie of all time, get this, Pretty Woman.
So that's a lot of people's favorite movie.
That's probably true. But I'm not dating any of them. Of all time, that includes every other movie ever made.
Hey, you see Lawrence of Arabia is playing at the Egyptian this weekend.
I know. You want to go tonight? Dan's working tonight, right?
Yeah, I'd love to. I can't. I'm going to bring him dinner at the hospital.
How about a late one? It's only playing until Friday.
We're getting married.
Look at that. You're wearing a ring. Sid, I'm sorry. I didn't even. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's wow. So when's the wedding?
Well, we're thinking the spring.
That's spring. Next spring. That's so soon.
Pretty soon.
That's fantastic. That's so great when two people. God, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
You want a couple more laps?
Good. I'm going to stop you there. Good. So very good. What was your experience of that? Anything come up you don't care for? Anything your vulture was squawking about?
Yeah, my heart was racing when we first started.
Well, I don't talk about that because that's always happened. That always happens, and it's a good thing. If that excitement is.
So yeah, I think it was that it was squawking that I wouldn't be able to be understood or to get the words out because I would sort of trip over them or whatever.
Because your heart's racing? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Listen, we never can tell, ever. I'll have people go, oh my God, through the scene, my hand was shaking so bad. Everyone must have seen that. It's like, no, we didn't see it. Like, we can't see that. That's also your heart racing. Wouldn't Clay's heart be racing because they just completed? It says both are wildly out of breath.
Yeah.
So the universe sent you a gift of completely aligning you with the character circumstances, and you went, oh no, I don't want that. Okay, so obviously I release and destroy my need to not have my heart race. But then as far as I might stumble or stutter, kind of, they might be right.
Yeah.
Don't real people do that? Isn't this a scene about a guy who's really being put on the spot, being forced to talk about a date with a woman he's in love with, then asking her out, then finding out she's going to be gone forever, no chance of ever getting to be with her? Wouldn't you hope you'd stumble and stutter? If there was ever a scene about a person who didn't know what he's going to say, it's this one.
Yeah.
But I'm showing you how your vulture convinced you, no, this is a scene about somebody who knows what he's going to say and can calmly and coolly say it.
Mm-hmm.
And you called it. So you should say, I release and destroy my need not to stutter and stumble. I release and destroy my need to be perfect. Plus, it's the 9th take where the director said, I already have you at doing it with your heart not racing. So whatever, you can totally fuck this one up. I don't care.
Yeah.
Anything else your vulture said?
I think I was aware of, well, I guess it goes in along with trying to make the feeling this obligation to have the scene make sense, just setting wise. When I see myself in the Zoom, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't look like a park. You know, obviously I'm inside, but I was thinking, oh, maybe I could have helped myself by just going against just a bare wall or whatever. But
okay, so here's what I'll say. You know, there's a famous story. James Dean would just look at things on the set. People would always go like, why is James Dean looking at the guy, or you know, he's looking at a piece of scaffolding, or he's looking at the script supervisor? It's because he understood it doesn't fucking matter what you look at. Right. Just look at something and have faith it's the wall, or have faith it's a park. My 2 words for acting are faith and trust. So I have faith I'm in a park. I trust that my computer is the park. Even if I'm seeing my computer, I have faith that I'm seeing the park. So anything that we're doing in our acting that doesn't sound like faith and trust, we can just get rid of, because I guarantee it's not helping your acting. And basically what I'm showing you is that your vulture was saying things to make you move away from faith and trust. Saying, no, it's got to be a thing called real.
Yeah.
Or I've got to be. And so I would recommend that you read my chapter called The Trap of Making It Real. Because if you take one step down the road of thinking acting is making it real, oh boy, you're really it's really, acting is fake. It's all totally fake. Often they use a take where the actor was just like looking at craft service thinking, I'm so damn hungry, I wish I could go have a bite. And in the movie, it looks like the character's considering whether she should get married to him. Right? So you don't have to make it real. So release and destroy your need to not see the computer. Anything else?
Well, I mean, I think it's just generally, I find that I feel this need to, and it was happening during a little bit because.
Yeah, our vulture squawks while we're acting. What did it say? If you use the word need, that makes me think it was your vulture. So what did you hear? Yeah,
but just that these circumstances are different. So even the water bottle, I was like, I don't fucking need this. Why do I even bother? I would not have it probably in an audition because I'd have my pages with me. So there's a lot of like, but if I was really in an audition, but if this were really happening in an audition, then
I'm trying to understand
have my pages.
What your vulture specifically said to you during this audition. Did it go, you idiot, why are you using a water bottle? You wouldn't really do that. Is that what it was saying? Well,
just that, you know, maybe you don't need it. Just that, you don't need that. You just do it like this.
Okay, so your vulture, but the thing is you already were using it. And your vulture wants you to go, this isn't how it's supposed to go. And so the point is you can book the role with the water bottle or without. But what you don't want is a vulture that while you're acting goes, oh, this isn't how I should have done it. And so reread the chapter. It's the last chapter of my book for a great reason. I'm not telling you, I'm telling everyone. It's the 5 concepts to understanding that there's no such thing in failure. There's no such thing as failure when you act, because what your vulture is telling you by going, why did you use the water bottle? You shouldn't have. It's telling you you could fail. And so you want to make sure you have a reality where you can't fail, where everything's happening as it's meant to happen for your everything happens as it's meant to happen for your greatest good, that you have the power to forgive yourself unconditionally. You know, good people make mistakes, big deal. Your higher power is the one that made you decide to use that. So even if using that bottle is what ruins your audition, your higher power knew that you were meant to have a bad audition. These are some of the things we tell ourselves so that our vulture won't start squawking about the result of the scene. Yeah. Now, I loved that you used the water bottle. I thought you did the perfect thing, which was to take a swig of it and set it off camera. But then what I didn't think you needed to do was return to it, because it doesn't say he drinks again. Because I guarantee you something more important is happening in the scene than him drinking water.
Right.
And that's my note for the scene. But I don't want to get into my thoughts on the scene until you're done telling us anything else your vulture might have been saying.
I think that's about it. Yeah.
Okay. So what's literally obviously happening in this scene are the circumstances. And I thought it was a great audition. And you know, you're just a very good actor. But was it a rich, surprising, emotional experience for you? No, and that's okay. It was a good audition, though. The casting person would bring you back because you're one of the 2 in 10 actors who's able to behave as if it's really happening and understands what drama acting on film is, which is you can't make choices. You have to allow them to happen to you. It's just not much happened to you because I think your scene comprehension, you made other things more important, in my opinion, than your scene comprehension. And we know what they were. It was your heart is racing and why are you using that water bottle was more important than what's literally obviously happening, which are some great circumstances, which are, I love this woman. I'm in love with her. And it's an improv about being asked about something you don't want to be asked about and you didn't want to talk about, but she pushes it. And so you're being forced to talk about a date with the woman you love. Then you ask if she'd like to see a movie, and there's an incredible improv where you do an improv about finding out that the woman you love is marrying your friend, what's his name?
Right.
And that's why you couldn't have much of a reaction to that moment, because you had let go of the concept that you love her, and so you had nothing happening there. And you just seemed like you could have been anyone, whereas we know that he's fighting, right? Or what does it say? It says,
a lot. There's quite a stage direction there.
I love this. He's heartsick.
Yeah.
So anyway, with this scene, we want to tell ourselves, I want to feel. I have faith. I have his thoughts and feelings, and they're big ones, but the words I throw away. I want to feel, but I remember the character doesn't.
Right.
But I have faith that I've been pushing down this seed of love and this seed of this fear that she might, move on without me before I'm able to find a way to let her know.
Yeah.
That you've been pushing that down for a while. So it's not coming out of nowhere.
Right.
So anyway, nice audition, but let's do it again. And we'll talk about your life just so you can remember how you really think and communicate.
Right.
In the middle of us talking, I'll begin the scene. Now the goal is to bring right into the scene how you really think and communicate so that we can't even tell the scene began, which means you want to really just let go of any way you ever thought to do it and just see what happens. We're obviously not going to do the bottle handoff because I'm just going to start the scene with hey, where were you last night? And I'm going to talk now about your life. When you were younger, what were the schools you went to?
I went to Gulfview and elementary school. I went to
did you have a teacher there you liked?
Did I have what?
A teacher there you liked?
Yeah, he was great. He saved me one day because some kids were picking on me and I went in and told them about it.
What was his name?
I have no idea. I was just trying to think of that recently.
What did he teach?
Can't remember. I think this was elementary school, so I don't know. Was it maybe?
It was just your fifth grade teacher.
Fifth grade teacher or something, yeah.
And when you were younger, was there something you wore that you thought was cool and now you're like, I can't believe I wore that?
Oh, hell yeah. Corduroy pants and, a bright orange short sleeve shirt.
Starting the scene.
Here with a sweater over it.
Starting the scene. Hey, where were you last night? I called you.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to talk about it. My sister set me up. I had a blind date.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah, for the date, I think. Yeah.
You didn't like her?
Yeah, I didn't like her so much. I don't like my sister anymore.
What was the problem?
Besides the fact that I work for a newspaper and she's never seen one.
Okay, stop it. I'm sure she's seen a newspaper.
Her favorite movie of all time. Are you ready for this? Pretty Woman.
I hate to tell you, that's a lot of people's favorite movies, like the biggest movie that year ever.
Yeah, that's probably true, but I'm not dating any of those people of all time. I mean, and that includes every other movie ever made.
Oh, speaking of, did you see Lawrence of Arabia is playing at the Egyptian
Yes.
this weekend?
Yes. You want to go tonight? Dan works late, right?
I'd love to. I can't. I told him I was going to bring him dinner at the house.
Well, let's go to see a late one. It's only playing till Friday.
We're getting married.
Look at that. You're wearing a ring. That's, God, I didn't even, Sid, that's amazing. Congratulations. Oh my God. That's,
Thank you.
wow. Did, when's the wedding?
We're thinking the early spring.
This next spring. God, that's soon.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Fantastic. That's so great when two people, you know, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna. You don't want to. You want to get a couple more in? Just a couple?
No, I'm done.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get a couple more in, I think.
Okay, good. What's your experience that time?
Fun. It was better. It was. Yeah, it was. Well, it felt more relaxed.
Can I give you a word? Because I know you weren't relaxed, because we're never relaxed when we're acting.
Yeah.
Maybe what you meant was I felt less anxiety.
Less anxiety. Mm-hmm.
Because that we can control. You will never be relaxed at an audition. And if you're sitting in the waiting room looking at that audition door and you think I have to go in there next and be relaxed, you're fucked. Because it'll just spiral you into more freaking out because you know you can't get relaxed. But if you look at the door and say, I want to go in there next and have no anxiety, that's easy. What's your vulture saying? And then talk back to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because you have no anxiety, what was your experience of doing the scene with the silent vulture?
It was fun. It felt even more like I was talking to you. Can
I put another way to say that? That time I felt more like I was behaving as if it was really happening. Mm-hmm. I think that's what you mean by more talking to me, right? Mm-hmm. But that's the definition of acting.
Absolutely.
So if you're saying that, you're saying that time I was acting more.
Yeah.
Which means the first time there was a part of you involved in showing what the scene would look like in the finished product.
Yeah.
And that part of you had your hands busy over here worrying about, fulfilling the scene. And because your hands were busy over here, but because the second time that your hands weren't over here busy trying to fulfill the scene, because your vulture was silent, your hands were here, open in front of you, ready to receive gifts of images, thoughts, concepts, and that you could react to emotionally based on the literal circumstances of the scene. And that's called great acting. Great acting is being surprised by a thought or a feeling in front of the rolling camera. And boy, did you do that the second time. It was a flawless audition. I loved it so much.
Thanks. It was a lot of fun. I certainly surprised myself quite a bit. It felt very uncomfortable.
That's why we started to feel uncomfortable. We did not feel uncomfortable the first time.
Yeah.
And we want to feel so uncomfortable watching this moment in this man's life that we want to leave the room.
Yeah.
But if you're involved in the things you were involved in the first time to make us and yourself comfortable, which was all the stuff your vulture was saying, then we're going to feel comfortable. Because you felt uncomfortable this time, we felt uncomfortable. And so that's why it was such a great drama audition. You see?
Yeah.
That's why right before you do a drama audition, you should say, I hope they feel so fucking uncomfortable watching this. And I'll do that by not taking care of it at all.
I love that. I love that that mantra, that adjustment. It's so great. It's so helpful for us because
yeah, I want to clarify the exercise we did. All it did was shut up your vulture, and the affirmations do that better. But also, it did remind you the literal circumstances, which are, I'm talking about something embarrassing I don't want to talk about. But also, when people talk about the outfit they wore in high school, it's a kind of a joyful thing. And this man is involved in joy because he's with the woman he loves, but he's being forced to talk about something. But that was obvious, and you knew that. You just didn't make it as important as other things. Like, where should I look and should I do this water bottle?
Right.
I want you to make the circumstances are the most important thing. And you put them in your belly, meaning you trust your gut to do with them what it will.
Yeah.
And then you just see what happens when you do an improv about you in those specific circumstances. And then my last note would just be, I think that you could have gone further down the road, and we all can go further down the road of not making choices, but instead and only allowing them to happen. But in particular, I felt that when you got to the moment when you get the news about marriage, I thought you could have gone further in trusting that if nothing happens, it's better than what you would put there. Because of projection. Because that little part of you that was just concerned about fulfilling the moment just muscled those moments in there a little bit. And that was a percentage of you unavailable to have a powerful thought or concept come to you that you could react to. You know, in a drama, the camera is here, close up. That's what they're looking at. So and the camera sees and feels everything you feel in a drama, meaning it sees a new thought pass behind your eyes. So that means what needs to happen in a drama? Maybe a new thought passes behind your eyes. And that means you really need to, in that moment, to say, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to make any choice. And that way you let that panic make a choice spot go by, and you've now left a blank space in the magic moment of genuine reaction, which is a space in which the universe can send you a gift of a thought. So when she goes, I'm getting married, and you have faith that this is really fucking happening. I mean, the thought that I just received was, and it makes me really sad, was this concept of all my wedding pictures with her that would never now become a reality. Like the first thought that smacked me in the face, because I opened myself to the universe and said, feel free to send me something, because that's what we do as actors. Our tentacles are out, hungry to receive gifts. I just got this image of me and her at our wedding in like a photo form, and then the image was gone. And that just was very painful. And so I hope that you'll approach those moments from an even more selfish place to have an even more selfish emotional experience, so that, and that really means you've got to say, I'm on nobody's clock but my own.
Great.
You know, I'll take all the fucking time I want. My next line, I don't want to say my next line. He doesn't want to say it. So you don't have to want to say it. You can just, I'll say that line when it comes out of me, and I guarantee you it will. Because when you're acting, your heart's racing, time speeds up. You're never going to make them sit for 10 minutes waiting for you to say, look at that. But if you think I have to keep it moving because I have to show what the scene will look like, it will not leave space for you to receive something even more exciting for yourself.
Brilliant.
Great work. It was a wonderful audition. Really, really good.
Thanks, Jack.
Oh, yeah.
As always.
Yes, yes. Take care and tell Joan I said I hope she feels better.
I will.
Okay. There might only be one person left. And wait, two people. But did F. Trango ever come? Who's F. Trango? No. I guess that person canceled. So that would mean, Carmen, you're going to be up now. And I hope that's okay, because I'm about to bring you. Oh, hi, you're good. Okay, yes, I see. I just, maybe that person canceled and I forgot. I don't know. Hi, Carmen. It's so nice to meet you. This is your first time working with me. Is your microphone turned on? Hello? No, your microphone is not on. I don't hear you. Oh, there we go. Something new is happening. This is exciting.
From my phone back to my computer, but I had it set up just in case, because I wanted to stand up, but we'll just do it this way.
Yeah, start thinking to have a backup. Hey, what scene are you doing? I don't know.
Elise.
Okay. So Elise is a sitcom audition She's not like the lead, but she's, you know, she's like plays the best friend of the lead, best friend from work. No, I want to tell you something about the scene that I tell everyone who does it. I know it says that she's texting on her phone, and it says, oh, yeah, well, I don't think so. I don't think she's typing, oh, yeah. I think she's literally just trying to quickly type, fuck you. And so those lines about, oh, yeah, that's just her thinking out loud. You follow?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because some people misunderstand that. So again, we're about to do a sitcom scene. I have the first line, so I'm going to wait till you tell me you're ready, and then we'll begin this sitcom audition.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. So Sarah Carmen's on her way, and they say she's pretty shook up.
Oh, yeah? Well, I don't think so. You can't cancel. We had plans.
Elise, you realize I can hear you.
Well, I have to get it out because George will only fight now via email because he's not comfortable with personal confrontation.
You did not just say that.
He thinks we choose our words more carefully this way.
Oh my God, you did not just say that. This is the man you want to marry?
I don't know if I want to marry him. I just want him to want to marry me.
I just think you can do better than him. Hey, whatever happened to Larry?
Larry, who took me to a George Michael concert and was dancing with his hands above his head?
Well, there's got to be someone else.
Well, when you find him, tell me and my vagina, because we're both looking. Anyway, enough about me. When are you and Josh hooking up again?
We're not hooking up. That was 6 years ago.
I don't care how long it's been. He's seen you naked. You can't go back from that. You're giving a lecture on an amicus brief. He's thinking about the night you sucked his toes for an hour.
I never did that. Ew, who would do that?
I don't know. Somebody? I don't know.
Good. Very good job. So what was your experience with that? Anything come up you don't care for? Anything your vulture was squawking about?
I feel like I started to watch myself for a second. And then I was just like, just stay in the scene, you know?
Okay, so obviously we can't watch ourselves because our eyeballs are in our head.
Yeah.
But whenever an actor says, I was watching myself, or I wasn't connected, or I didn't get there, or all those things simply mean in that moment their vulture was squawking. So if you say to me, I was watching myself, what you're saying to me is your vulture squawking, but that's why I begin with, was there anything your vulture was saying? Yeah. Now your vulture might know you're such a pushover that all it has to do is say you're watching yourself, and you're like, oh, you're right. But the truth is when your vulture says you're watching yourself, what he's saying is, I'm talking and you're listening. So what was your vulture saying that made you feel like you're watching yourself?
It said that I wasn't in the moment, that I wasn't allowed.
Okay. Whenever an actor says, don't forget what you just said, but whenever an actor says, I wasn't in the moment, it simply means that in that moment their vulture was squawking. So we're back to the tricks your vulture is using to make you think she's not squawking at you. Then what did you say? So basically you'd say, I release and destroy my need not to watch myself. I release and destroy my need to be in the moment so that she'll stop talking about it. But then what was the thing you said after you're not in the moment?
Like I was watching myself. But
okay, we're back.
Yeah.
I need to know what your vulture's saying, though, not the way you felt. You're describing feelings, but feelings are not facts. Every feeling is caused by a thought. So if you feel like you're not connected or like you're not, or like you're watching yourself, it really, your vulture's saying something about the scene. What do you think she might have been saying?
Maybe just something about it not being good enough.
Oh, well, everybody's vulture tells them they're not good enough. And that's why the ninth take is so important. You say, I release and destroy my need to be good enough. Fuck Jack, I have permission to hate him. It's the ninth take. And the director said, I already did it great. Now I can just see what happens and I can totally fuck up. He said he doesn't care. Because now this time I'm behaving as if it's really happening and just wanting to surprise myself.
Yeah.
But again, you may just be having a vulture that has you under its thumb with the concept of, you're watching yourself. You're watching yourself. And just let it know. All that means when you say that to me, vulture, is that you're talking. because I can't be watching myself. So I guess I'll just say I release and destroy my need to not watch myself, because I just don't want you talking about that anymore. Yeah, but you're not in this. What did she say? You're not in the scene. You're not in the moment. To which you'd say, you talking to me about whether I'm in the moment isn't helping. So I'm just going to say, while I want to be in the moment, I release and destroy my need to be in the moment. And then she'll stop saying you're not in the moment. But I also want to point out, we're always in the scene. There is no out of the scene until you break character, because I showed you today, maybe you missed it, but how the moment an actor forgets their next line and just thinks, that's the best moment of the scene. So are you in the scene? Fuck yeah. You're always in the scene until you break character and go, oh my God, I'm sorry, can we start over? Okay?
Yeah.
Anything else your vulture might have been saying or you didn't care for?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I thought it was really terrific, and especially on the, starting on the second page. Boy, did I love that audition. You had me in hysterics in the second page. The first page, I feel like it's possible that your vulture was squawking so much in the first page that it made it hard for you to behave as if it's really happening. So do you feel like maybe your vulture was squawking more in the first page?
Maybe I tried to consciously let it go and have fun. And I really love your whole approach and the faith and trust. And so I just feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be today, just having fun. And that's
well, I love that. I love you reminding the people out there that since your vulture squawks while you're acting, you'll have to say an affirmation while you're acting. So what you're saying is, in the middle of your scene, you guys, we can't read your thoughts. And it only takes a second to say, fuck it, fuck it. And your vulture shuts up, the pressure rolls off, and you can once again behave as if it's really happening. But I guarantee you, if you keep doing that whenever she squawks, eventually you'll be able to do a 5-minute audition with no vulture squawking. What a joy that is. And that's when we tend to book work. So in terms of, here's my notes for the first page. In scene comprehension, the literal obvious circumstances are that you are getting ready to meet with a client, and then you start furiously tapping on your phone, and we know that you're frustrated because your boyfriend won't talk, and once again, he's making you text. And I didn't quite feel you were doing an improv about that. Being really fucking frustrated and furious that your boyfriend, once again, is fucking bothering you with this.
Yeah.
And you know, so let me talk about sitcom style, which I thought you had perfectly in the second part of the scene. So all comedy acting is, instead of trying to make the audience laugh, you're there to tickle yourself with your own genuine human behavior. So what's sitcom style? Lots of spontaneous human behavior.
Yeah.
And to do that, you just put high stakes in your belly. Because high stakes in your belly, meaning you're not kind of frustrated with him doing this. You're really fucking furious that he keeps doing this.
Yeah.
More higher stakes in your belly makes more of your behavior come out of you, and you're tickling yourself with all this genuine human behavior. That's sitcom style.
Yeah.
Now, you'll notice I said high stakes in your belly. That's because you don't want to put high stakes in your head. If you put I'm furious with my boyfriend in your head, you're going to feel a responsibility to show us how furious you are. And then we're just going to get a bigger, louder scene. And that's not sitcom style. You know, in real life, people still push down anger, right? But you might get so frustrated, you throw your phone, who knows? So I just felt like I didn't quite get that you understood what was literally happening. But do you feel like everything I just said, you're like, oh no, I knew that? Or do you feel like things I said made you go, wow, I didn't understand that first page?
I feel like I got it, but it's a good refresher.
Yeah. This is the interesting thing about scene comprehension. Whenever I go over the literal circumstances, nobody ever goes, wow, like I had no idea. Scene comprehension must be so hard. I'm going to have to train with you for years to learn it. They're always like, oh no, yeah, I knew that. I just didn't make it important. I made something more important. And for you, it was, am I a good actress? Am I watching myself? Am I in the moment? But as soon as you go, fuck all that shit, then the circumstances rise to the surface and you get to do an improv about being at work and this fucker fucking starts texting again and you don't know what you're going to say. You don't know what he's going to say. And then you start an improv about your friend at work talking to you about him. And then you start talking about other boyfriends and then blah, blah, blah. So again, I love the second half, but let's do the whole thing again. Now, whenever you get a chance to do it again, even you always want to go, well, look, he saw it like that. So now let me see what happens this time. You're not under any responsibility to make the second page look different, but you do want to be open to new things happening. Release and destroy your need to be funny. You're just here to tickle yourself with your own genuine human behavior. Let's talk about your life for a moment so you can remember how you really think and communicate. And then we'll jump into the scene to bring right into the scene how you really think and communicate. I may talk about things that you find frustrating. It's not for substitution. It's just so you can remember the circumstances. I don't believe in planning substitution, and you don't need it. You could jump right into the scene right now. This is just an exercise to help you to even more behave as if the first page is really happening. When you were younger, what were the street names in your neighborhood?
Oh, Sundance, Lakeshore Drive.
Who lived? That's a crazy name, Fun Dance. That's really a name of a street, Fun Dance?
Sundance.
Oh, Sundance, okay. And who were your girlfriends in like middle school or sixth grade, fifth grade?
Alicia Bergen.
What would you guys do for fun?
Brewer. We'd run around with the neighborhood kids and play in the creek. And
was there a kid in your school who just get away from me, like just drove you crazy? You don't have to say the name, but yeah. How did that make you feel when this person was around?
Just kind of.
Was there a teacher you hated who was a bitch?
At the time, yes, but as I got older, I had more.
Why did it frustrate you? Why was she such a bitch?
She was a drill sergeant. She gave us so much homework in fourth freaking.
Okay, so fuck it. Right, here we go. So Sarah Carter's on her way over. They say she's pretty shook up.
Oh yeah? Well, I don't think so. You can't cancel on me like that. We had plans.
Elise, you realize I can hear you.
I have to get it out because George will only fight via email. He is uncomfortable.
Okay, good. I like this, but I would like to go further down the road of behaving as if it's really happening. And that means in real life, we throw away words. Like, I have no idea how I've said anything today. All these words, I have interesting thoughts and feelings, but all these words tumble out of my face. And the neat thing about acting is almost every scene you ever were going to do is a scene about somebody thinking out loud. And this too is an improv about thinking out loud. And if you don't throw away the words, but instead deliver them and color them, then it's more like somebody who knows what they're going to say and is just saying it. You know what I mean? So I want you to just start texting with your fingers, but while you're doing that, I'm going to have you talk about your life and then bring right into the scene how you really think and communicate. So pretend that you're busy texting. Do you have something to text on? Just pretend like you're not really doing this, but just pretend you're doing some huge math equation with 100 different numbers that you're adding together. And tell me, did you ever have a job where you had to waitress or something?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, tell me everything you had to do. 15 things you had to do in the day in 5 seconds, starting with I arrive and take off my coat. Go.
I arrive and take off my coat. I have to fill the salt shakers. I have to wipe.
Starting the scene. Sarah Carter's on her way over. They say she's pretty shook up.
Oh, yeah? Well, you can't just cancel on me. We had plans.
Okay, I want you to go further towards letting go of your idea of how to say this line and instead say it the same way you were saying the thing about the restaurant work. So you're doing a very big math equation that you don't want to have to do, right? 1 million numbers. And now tell me 20 things you had to do in the day as a waitress. Continue. You had 5 seconds. Go.
I had to bus tables. I had to wipe down tables. I had to act like I liked people I didn't like. I had to say yes, sir, no, ma'am. I had to
how did it make you feel when somebody was there that you hated and was being rude to you as a waitress?
I can't describe the disgust.
We're starting the scene. We're starting. So Sarah Carter's on the way over, and they say she's pretty shook up.
Oh, yeah? Well, I don't think so. You can't cancel on me like that. We had plans.
Elise, you realize I can hear you?
Well, I have to get it out somehow because George will only fight with me via email because he's uncomfortable with personal confrontation.
Oh my God, you did not just say that.
Yeah, he thinks that we choose our words more carefully this way.
Again, you did not just say that. This is Elise. Elise, this is the man you want to marry? Look at me, Elise. This is the man you want to marry?
I don't know if I want to marry him. I just want him to want to marry me.
Come on, there's got to be somebody better. Elise, look at me. We're done with the phone. There's got to be somebody better than him. Whatever happened to that guy Larry you dated?
Larry?
Yeah.
Who went to a George Michael concert and danced with his hands above his head?
Well, I mean, there's got to be somebody else.
Well,
Okay, good work. Fuck, yeah. Let me ask you. That time, was that easier or harder?
it was fun. It was way more fun.
And I bet a lot easier.
And it was easier. The interesting thing is I felt like my vulture was more prevalent, but it was easier. Like I had to more consciously be like, stop. And then, because there was I've done it 3 times now. And then it was just like, I feel like the more I just commit to having fun. And like you said, throwing it away. Like I think even.
But honey, when I say throw away words, you can throw away words when you're fucking screaming at somebody and you're telling somebody to shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. That is still me throwing away the words. But the thing is that you were like doing it in a way that you heard it in your head while you were memorizing. And so you couldn't receive a new way to do it. So I wouldn't have minded if your stakes were higher, but I didn't mind your stakes where they were. I loved that audition. It was just beautiful. And you guys, did you see that moment when I asked her? I said, whatever happened to Larry? And you went, Larry? It was, oh no, wait, that wasn't it. The moment was, is this the man you want to marry? And you were like, I don't know if I would see. I love that moment because actors skip that moment because they end up doing a scene as if they know what their scene partner is going to say and they know what they're going to say. And what I love is that you really had faith that you didn't know what I was going to say so that you could receive it, have a thought, and then start to talk. And people skip that part. But you got to remember, when your character says 1, 2, 3 words, they don't know what the 4th word is. They don't know what the 6th word is going to be. And that's not something you act, that's something you allow to happen by more behaving as if it's really happening, which you're doing now. Much, much more behaving as if it's really happening. Because sitcom does not mean you're not behaving as if it's really happening. It just means stakes are higher and you're tickling yourself with your genuine human behavior, which you were doing beautifully. Great work.
Tickled. Thank you so much.
Yes, I would bet that your vulture was squawking much, much less, even though you felt like he was. You really told her to shut up. And so you really just were playing that time. So again, I just want to say the affirmations are the best way to do that. I don't do that exercise. You don't need to do that exercise. You got to get your vulture to shut up to allow yourself to behave as if it's really happening and tickle yourself so beautifully.
Thank you.
Right? You're welcome. Okay, Tom. Oh, look at that. You're moving all around. This looks great. I'm so thrilled.
I'm thrilled too.
You're the dad who's being invited back to this. This is a drama, and he's being invited to maybe make amends. His son wants to make amends or bring him back into the fold. It says Christmas Castle, Chandelier Room Day. While Kensington, Bijou, and Ginger talk with the reporter, someone in the crowd catches Beau's attention. It's Howard. So is Howard Beau's dad?
Yes.
Okay, it says Beau excuses himself and joins his dad, who's by the gazebo. And this is a drama, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I have the first line. So you let me know when you're ready and we'll do this scene.
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready.
Howard, why are you hiding back here?
I didn't want to intrude.
No, you're not intruding. I invited you.
I didn't want to intrude.
You're not intruding. I invited you.
I know. I just didn't. I just wasn't sure. Here, Merry Christmas.
I didn't know I started doing curves so young. Is that really me?
You didn't, but I did.
This is you? I didn't know you ever got on a skateboard.
Because I never told you.
You gave me such a hard time about it when I started skating.
Yeah, I give you a hard time about everything. And I just want you to know that you're the best part of me, Bo. And you're a better skateboarder than I ever was, and a better dad by putting your kids first.
If you just came here to beat yourself up in front of me, there's some boxing gloves in the garage.
No, I feel like I wasn't there enough for you.
Well, you're here now, and that's what matters. Ginger taught me that.
She's an amazing woman.
Yeah, she is.
Well, you better go off to your honeymoon.
When I get back, can I give you a call? Maybe Noah and I can go ride our bikes or fishing, something fathers do with their sons.
I'd like that a lot.
Me too. Merry Christmas, Dad. Good. Good, good. What's your experience today? Anything come up you don't care for? Anything your vulture was saying?
Don't be so emotional. But it always says that. I really, what else was my vulture saying? The internet doesn't work and it's your fault. Stuff like that.
If you gave yourself more permission to hate me and forgive yourself more unconditionally, you probably wouldn't have that thought, you know? Oh, look at that. Anyway, anything feel better than usual just based on what you've been working on?
Yeah, definitely taking my time. And it's
no
interesting.
Going, keep it moving,
Yes,
which is just
yes.
comfortable, and then it's going to make us comfortable. Yeah, and we don't want to feel comfortable watching this scene.
Yes. I thought about the thing you've talked about, the actor thought coming in the room and then letting it go out of the room instead of grabbing it and saying, ah! So when the thought came in, you got to keep it moving, man. You're boring these people, dude. A train could run through this fucking pause. I just thought in the room and out the other, dude, because
Great.
I get to take all the time I need. This is the 9th take.
Yeah, great. Yes, and time is sped up when you're acting because your heart's racing, so it feels like 6 seconds of dead air, like 1 second has gone by. Plus, you hope we feel fucking uncomfortable watching it, and the director told you take all the time you want. But you know that, and that's why you allowed that, and that's why it was such a beautiful audition, Tom. You just keep coming in and doing such beautiful work. You know, when it comes to emotions, the actor must want to feel, and I'm just so proud of you because acting runs on emotion, you know? The audience won't feel it if you don't, and I'm so happy that you want to feel it, and you keep, and that was a very powerful audition. You got surprised by some very interesting things, and because you felt it, I felt it, and it was beautiful to see. And so never fault yourself for wanting to feel. However, always remember to push it down, because nobody wants to start crying in front of his son. Nobody wants to, you know what I mean? So you push it down. But the nice thing is when you push down sadness, it grows stronger. And you might find that a tear rolls down your cheek, but you're still pushing it down. I mean, that's what you end up seeing when people are crying is that they're not pulling it up and going this. They're talking and they get choked up and the tear comes out, but it's because they're pushing it down. So anyway, my only note would be, but I mean, that's what books work because they know they need an actor on set who's going to have an emotional experience or they got nothing. So I loved all the emotion. However, I'd say in particular about that last line, I'd like that a lot. That was an opportunity, I think, for you to understand the camera's here and I don't have to say these words till they come out of my mouth. And I'm receiving what he's saying. And because it says a bit choked up, I tell my higher power, I say, you know, please send me something in that moment. I'm not going to say that line until it comes to me. I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to ask you to send me a gift of an image or a thought or a concept that I could react to emotionally. And if you don't, that's fine, because I have faith. I have the character's thoughts and feelings, and that's actually enough. But I'm not going to say that line until it comes out of me.
Yeah.
And I just felt a bit like that was the only moment where I felt a bit that you were going for a result. But it wasn't unfelt. I mean, you were absolutely, it wasn't false. You were behaving as if it was really happening. And I do believe you really felt things, but just make sure, you know, to push it down, because we get a sense this guy has not been able to be this person you're being right now. And if you make it look too easy, then we go, well, if it's this easy for him in this scene, why wasn't he always this deeply feeling father, which we know he wasn't? You see what I mean? Because we're never playing actors, almost ever. Actors are very okay feeling feelings. But this character isn't, or wasn't, and now he's starting to, right? I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
yeah, no, that's the thing, yeah.
Yeah. But again, like, I don't need to see it again, but why not? Let's do it again.
Okay.
And just all that. I loved it. I don't really need to see it again because it was such a great audition. But let's just go further down the road of not making any choices, but more importantly, allowing them to happen based on the circumstances. You throw away the words, but have faith. You have his thoughts and feelings, and they're big ones. We hope they feel so fucking uncomfortable watching this, and you'll do that by not taking care of the scene at all, but instead and only being interested in your experience of behaving as if it's really happening. And lastly, the director is saying to you, I got it. Thank you for bringing all those brilliant choices. They were perfect. I have them all on film and I'm going to use them. So I guess that means you don't have to do any of them this time. Gosh, I guess that means just behave as if this is really fucking happening. Just want to be surprised. Oh, take all the time you want and you have permission to do it badly. I'm never going to look at this take. Okay? Here we go. You ready? Okay, you ready? Can you hear me? Are you ready? Tom, you ready? Are you ready? Good to go? Are you ready? I'm about to start. Here I go. Howard, why are you hiding back here?
I didn't want to intrude.
You're not intruding. I invited you.
I know. I wasn't sure. Here, Merry Christmas.
I didn't know I started doing curse so young. Is that really me?
Oh, no, you didn't. But I did.
This is you? I didn't know you ever got on a skateboard.
Oh, because I didn't tell you.
But you gave me such a hard time when I talked about when I started skating.
I know. I give you a hard time about everything. And I just want you to know that you're the best part of me, Bo. You're the best part of me. You're a better skateboarder than I ever was. And you're a better father by putting your kids first.
Hey, if you just came here to beat yourself up in front of me, there's some boxing gloves in the garage.
I just wish that I was there for you, that's all.
Well, you're here now, and that's what matters. Ginger taught me that.
She's an amazing woman.
Yeah, she is.
Well, you better go up to your honeymoon.
But when I get back, can I give you a call? I mean, maybe you, Noah, and I can go ride our bikes or fishing, something fathers do with their sons.
I'd like that.
Okay, good. So I thought that was another really good audition, Tom. And if you were going in on this, this would be my note for you. I feel that you're a little bit playing the end of the scene at the beginning.
Yeah.
Meaning,
yeah,
this is a man who is, we know from the scene, this is a man beating himself up.
Right.
but I don't see that improv. Also, you got to remember every scene's happening for the first time, so you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
You might be here to say, basically what you say is in your first kind of piece is, I gave you a hard time about everything and I want you to know you're the best part of me. Isn't that essentially saying I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Well, when we go to apologize to someone, do we know if they're going to accept it?
No.
Ah. Well, okay. How would he feel if the apology is not accepted? Not good.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's a good point. I think I'm making an assumption that because I'm invited to this wedding, I've been forgiven, and that's not necessarily true.
Then why would you apologize?
Right.
Here we go. Howard, why are you hiding back here?
I didn't want to intrude.
No, you're not intruding. Come on, I invited you.
No, I know. I just didn't. I just wasn't sure. Here, Merry Christmas.
Well, I didn't know I started doing curse so young. Is that really me?
No, you didn't. But I did.
Good, Tom. Good. I just think you're a little bit kind of now, because we're running out of time. Maybe I need to give you a little more time to digest what I said. But I would have loved to see more of a different improv happening, more of between the legs, more of the wanting to be surprised by thoughts or concepts that create a feeling in you like I sucked as a father. Can I make it up to him? Will he? Is it hard or easy to look at him in the eye? Have I just been a shit to this guy? Will this picture help? Now, by the way, I don't think you had bad scene comprehension. And it might be that the very first way you did it tonight is exactly what they want, because it wasn't wrong. You know, I'm now kind of going next level to, if you were auditioning for this, what I would recommend. But it wasn't wrong. They may want that energy from the father. They may want somebody who comes in sort of adorable right from the outset. And boy, were you adorable. You know why you were adorable? Because you let us see you. You didn't show us an example. You didn't show us your dead idea of the result of the scene. I just got to see Tom so joyful and choked up to be back in touch with his son. And that's not a bad way to do the scene. So I don't want you to end this feeling like you didn't get it, because you did. I'm just pointing out to you how you might in the future miss the meaning of some scenes if you don't remember this has happened for the first time, which means I don't know how it's going to go, you know?
Yeah, sure. The dimension. Yes.
I mean, we have words like hiding back here. You don't say I wasn't hiding. You say, I didn't want to intrude. That sounds to me very tail between the legs, you know? Then he says, I invited you. He goes, then you say, I know, I just wasn't sure, ... Here, look at this. That means probably I'm not really a man of words. I don't know if you invited me because you liked me or because you felt a responsibility, but I want to give you this picture because I want to say something to you and I don't even know how to put it, but it's around the concept that I fucking love you and I wasn't there for you and I need you to know I love you. You know what I mean? Yes.
We don't know how it's going to go. See what happens. Yeah. The scene comprehension that I don't know the outcome.
Yeah. It was just the tiniest note about scene comprehension. That's all, because I love what you're doing. So emotionally raw. You had a moment the first time you did it when you said, oh God, you're the best part of me. It was so powerful. I'm crying now thinking about your line reading there. It was so beautiful, so great. And that's what books work, is great acting is being surprised by a thought or a feeling in front of a rolling camera. And you can't plan that. You invite it. You have to be open to it and then receive it and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I know we're running out of time. So I'll
Did you have a question?
Well, I'll just share something because I think it might be helpful, which is if the opposite of muscling a moment is doing one thing at a time, like and letting things happen to you, that's actually something I can practice during my daily life. Like if I'm talking to someone on the phone, not be checking my Facebook, because I think that's what shuts out what might hit me. You know you follow what I mean?
if you, here's what I'll say. There's nothing you need to practice because we live our lives all day long and life is our practice. That what we need to do is practice getting our vulture to shut up. But I will say this, if you're realizing, wow, you know, I double task and it makes me unable to really be what some people call present with the people I love, that's a beautiful discovery. And when I'm looking at Facebook while I'm talking to someone, I'm doing it very purposefully because it's someone that I'm talking to for hours and now I'm just trying to be company to them. I won't get into details, but I like that you're saying, you know, that's something I do and I don't want to do that because as artists, working on who you are in your real life is part of working who you are. I mean, I wouldn't be able to teach everything I'm teaching right now if I didn't spend 15 years getting over my addiction to negative thinking.
Yeah.
And then it all made my acting better. So I like what you're saying. I don't disagree. But I will say that there will be scenes, though, where you're playing someone who's talking to someone but kind of more interested in something else.
Yeah.
So don't think people are present with each other in every scene because they ain't.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much, Tom. Great to see you and beautiful work.
You too.
Glad that we got your internet working. So all of the money today will be going to Black Lives Matter and or supporting the bail fund of your choice. So I think that's a beautiful thing that we've raised money for. Again, if you're curious about anything I've shared today, you can read it all in my free ebook here at this web address. New Thoughts for Actors is the ebook. Please share it with your friends. I put it out there to help people, and the more lives it touches, the better. If you're watching this and you'd like to get involved, you can write me here at this address. I'm seeing people use the private chat. That's so cute. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now and just thank you guys so much. What an incredible class. So many beautiful, beautiful adjustments. And this should post to YouTube if you would like to watch it later. But one time it didn't for some reason. It just disappeared. So we'll see. Take care, you guys. Stay safe. Stay away from people without masks on. Bye.